Real people, real radio. You're listening to Uncle Floyd on UncleFloydRadio.com.
And now, here's the man who wonders, if the police arrest a mime, do they tell him he has the right to remain silent? Here's Uncle Floyd.
Hello, you're on. Welcome to the Uncle Floyd Show.
Hello, Mr. Floyd. How are you, sir?
I'm okay. Why Mr. Floyd?
Great. Oh, Mr. Vivino, I'm sorry.
No, what I mean is I spent my whole career wanting to be known as Uncle Floyd, and now I'm Mr. Floyd.
I know.
You're going to hurt my career.
You could call him Sir. You could call him Sir Floyd.
You need a little change of pace once in a while, you know, a little change of pace. I'm a fan of yours from the late 70s. You've made my life a better place because you're in it, sir.
But how could you
call me? That's why I'm calling you
Mr. Floyd? After all these years...
It was a slip of the tongue. What can I do? Kind of came out that way. I just am very, I appreciate you, and I just wanted to call you with the respect of Mister. That's all.
Well, let's get this, sir. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Joe, and I'm from Fairlawn. I grew up in Glen Ridge, though. That's where I originally started watching Uncle Floyd. Back in the late 70s, early 80s, and I used to go up to Eagle Rock Avenue and check out the studios once in a while. And just go back with you a long way. So a lot of your shows in New York, at Montclair State. I've seen you in the last few years at Colucci's, at some, Columbus shows and things like that.
When you lived in Glen Ridge in the late 70s, as you said, Tom Cruise lived there. Did you know that?
Yeah, I think my sister went to school with him at Glen Ridge High. I was long graduated by then, but
because there's
my
picture.
Little sister.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. My sister went to school with him.
Well, there's a picture that's floated around. I only saw it a few times. I don't have it, but we did a personal appearance on Bloomfield Avenue around 1978, or I don't know if it was 77, 78, whatever. And Tom Cruise was there with some of his friends from Glen Ridge. It was at a record shop, Platypus Records in Bloomfield. That was
Platypus Records.
Yeah. Wait a minute. They had 4 stores all over the state. They're one of my big advertisers. And
I know.
He was there. Tom Cruise.
He must have been a big chain. I never heard of him. I went to Corvettes and that kind of places back then. But hey.
Do you know what
E.J. Isn't that the Core's Korean Vets or something like that? Or
there's all different variations. Yeah.
Okay.
11 Jewish Korean veterans. That was the original. No, seriously, it was. That's what.
Right?
Yes. That's.
And your studios were just up around the corner from there, right? Originally, I think at one time.
416 Eagle Rock Avenue, but the building's gone now. It's been demolished.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. What's up there now? Like a cat house or something, or?
All right. What kind of work do you do? You sound interesting.
I'm retired actually right now, but I was in the music business for 25, 30 years, in retail and then also in distribution side in New York City for some importers and some regular record labels. I worked for Sony for a while, worked for WEA for a while. I mean, we're all interbred. These people, we all know each other, but we're all out of work now. Nobody I know has a job anymore in music. It's all gone.
Why is that?
What
do you attribute that
to? File sharing, I believe.
Right.
Napster is the beginning of the death knell, I believe, and it's also people don't really care much about music the way I did when I was growing up, which was collecting it like kids collect Pokemon cards now or something. I don't know, but music was an integral part of my life back in the 60s, 70s.
Well, you know what?
Every kid I knew had.
You know what, Joe? It's funny. Remember when, and the name of the band escapes me, but with MTV, Video Killed the Radio Star?
Video Killed
the
Radio Star? Yeah,
sure. I mean, this is a new, someone should come up with a new song where internet killed,
everything else.
Everything else, basically.
The problem with that is no one would hear it. That's the problem.
No, you know what? Floyd and I were talking about this, and behind the scenes when we decided to start this show, people don't realize how many. And Joe, let me ask you, how are you listening right now? On a computer or on a smartphone?
I'm on my computer right now.
Okay. Well, you can listen to it on the computer with anybody that has an Apple phone, you can open the browser right in your phone and listen to it. But Droids, you can use the app. We're working on another app right now for the iPhones. But the technology right now is so vast, expanding so quickly that I believe Ford and if I'm not mistaken, Dodge vehicles and now Toyota are making vehicles standard with Wi-Fi and internet capabilities, so you can listen to internet radio no matter where you go. This is the wave of the future. This is the technology. So this is why we've embraced this technology now after it's been out for so long, that we know it's tried and true and tested, and we're able to reach the masses. You know, our first show the other day on Saturday, we've talked to people all around the country.
That's wonderful. I know. I listened to it, and I think Uncle Floyd was amazed that there were people, in Australia listening and stuff. It was worldwide.
Yeah.
So he's finally gone from UHF to worldwide, which is wonderful.
Well, listen.
Because,
Joe, I want to ask you a question.
You're a wonderful entertainer.
You live in Fair Lawn now? Are you a Fair Lawn resident?
Yeah, I'm in Fair Lawn now, yeah.
You have a new mayor recently, John Cosgrove, right?
Right. Took over from Jeannie Barada.
Yeah,
right.
he's an old friend of mine, Mr. Cosgrove.
He's a great guy.
Yeah, I'm doing a big mayor's dinner or something for them. I don't know, in about a month or two. Maybe I'll get to meet you over there.
I hope so. I saw you at the
Fair Lawn AC
athletic club. Yeah, I saw you a little while back, and saw you in Hackensack a while back.
Oh yeah.
The only thing I would want to see from you is I want to hear you play. Oh, geez, now I can't remember what I want.
You want to hear me play the piano? That's what you want to hear me play.
I love your piano. Well, I want to know, first of all, when did you teach Chico Marx to play? Because obviously he stole everything from you.
Listen, you said the name.
Same style.
You're one of the few people who said Chico Marx instead of Chico. We're talking about the Marx brothers now. Groucho, Gummo, Harpo, Zeppo, and Chico.
Right. And
Joe's right.
Floyd.
Chico, correct.
Just let me let you on a little industry secret. When you watch the Marx Brother movie, when you watch Chico playing the piano, they sped the film up. Notice the people shaking.
Right?
Yeah, as they're standing or listening to him, they're all shaking because it's impossible to hold still without moving an iota, and they used to speed up the film. They did that a lot years ago. They did it with the Three Stooges.
Oh, I didn't know
half
that.
the stuff is sped up. Yeah, they sped up the There's the shot, and if you watch Chico play the piano, that's all fast speed. I mean, he played it a lot slower than what you saw in the movie.
Well, I've seen you play. And if you could sing sometime when I see you next on the piano, hopefully, please don't talk about me when I'm gone, because I'll tell you, I love it. We had it on the internet for a while on YouTube. You had a lot of your stuff. You pulled it down, obviously, because it was hurting your sales. That's one thing we were talking about, killing sales was freebies. But you had it on the internet one time, and I heard it there, and I heard you play it live. And you just did a wonderful job with that song.
Thank you, Joe. We're going to get a piano in here. We're going to do requests. We're going to play Stump the Band. We're going to have a lot of fun eventually.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes. All right, Joe. Thanks very much for calling the Uncle Floyd Show. And feel free to call back anytime you get a chance or send us an email with any special requests. Telephone number for the Uncle Floyd Radio Show is 201-50-FLOYD. That's 201-50-FLOYD. We must be clear on that because some people are interpreting it as FLOID.
Oh, you have no. You should see the collection I have of misspellings of the name Floyd. I have floor. I have fluid. The best is FLUID. Fluid. Uncle Fluid.
The Uncle Fluid.
Then there's FLLYOD. There's FLOYDE. I have a collection of you would think, how can you misspell Floyd? But FLOYD. Thanks for clearing that up.
You know, so that's
Uncle Floor is the best.
Uncle Floor. Uncle Flo. 201-503-5693. That is the telephone number, 201-503-5693. And I was doing a lot of research on northern New Jersey on Facebook. And one thing I came across, and I mentioned it to you before, is that Pub 199 up in Mount Arlington. Apparently a very popular place, burned down the other night. And a lot of pictures online on Facebook that people were, posting of it, in full-blown glory of the restaurant or the pub in operation. You know, the places in New Jersey that you have performed in, that the residents of New Jersey remember. We were talking on the last show about the
Gaslight Village was Lake George, New York.
Lake George, New York. But places like that in New Jersey, you know, these staples, these, you know.
Club Benet was right in Sayreville. That was
right.
Mr. Beniato, thus the name Benet, from Mr. Beniato.
Yes. It's sad to see these places go through.
Well, the Club 500 in Atlantic City, Skinny D'Amato's joint. That was a legendary. Club Benet, the Latin Casino in Cherry Hill.
Right.
The Latin Casino. If you came from Philadelphia, Palumbo's, then the next show was Latin Casino, then the Copacabana in New York. Speaking of the Copacabana, New Jersey lost he was a very dear friend of mine recently, Tony Lip. He was the house manager at he lived in Paramus, New Jersey.
Right.
That's a stage name, Tony Lip.
Yes.
Vallalongo is his real name.
I was going to say, is his name Philip Chin?
No. His name is Joe Lemire Jr. But anyway, there was a big nightclub, and this was the #1 country western capital. We talked about that.
Yes.
Other people call that. There were more country western bars in New Jersey than in Arkansas or Tennessee. I mean, it was
and that's shocking how that changed so quickly.
It was a brief period. It actually arrived during World War II when a lot of defense workers came up here from rural America.
Right.
And they brought their cowboy music with them.
Right.
It was embraced by the people here in this state, and it flourished basically from, let's say, 1942 till about maybe 1980 or the late 70s. It started to disappear.
Yeah, it's, and it's sad that,
it's a big thing.
It's changed. You ready to take another call?
Yeah, I'm ready, sure.
Hey, you're on with Uncle Floyd on the Uncle Floyd Radio Show.
Uncle Floyd, it's Donna. How are you?
Donna, the girl of my dreams?
You got her, honey. How are you?
Where have you been?
Working. You want to come help me?
What do you do? What
I
kind
can
of
hook
work?
you up with all kinds of animals. How's that? Good clue?
Well, are they like hippopotami? Or?
Yeah, first I should state.
Yeah, there you go.
Hippopotamuses.
How are you?
Hippopotamuses?
This is a wonderful lady friend of mine, Donna, the animal queen of New Jersey. She rescues animals. She loves animals. Am I right or wrong, Donna?
No, you're absolutely right.
And
if it has fur, feather, or fins, I'm in.
Really?
How's that?
And the animals sense that you care about them, right? I mean, don't they have a sense of that?
No. They know. They know if you don't like them. They know if you do like them. You build a trust.
And they're excellent judges of character.
Absolutely. I would trust my dog before I trust any human.
That how many people I hear
they
say
tell
that?
you. They tell you if it's safe.
Yeah.
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 How does a dog have?
Uncle Floyd came to my apartment one night to visit, and I had a German Shepherd, a miniature Doberman. I had some cats. I had a bird. They let him right in. Good people.
Oh.
He was a little nervous, but they were good.
Well, I was nervous. You ran out of tequila, and I didn't know what we were going to do next.
Yeah, no. Sorry.
And I know that she's a dear friend of mine, Donna. From you're up in Pompton Lakes, right?
Correct.
This is her.
Yeah.
Do you like that title, the Animal Queen of New Jersey?
That works. Sure.
So,
absolutely.
Donna, let me ask you, what kind of animals do you currently have?
Right now?
Yes.
I have a cat, a 120-pound dog. I have 11 hamsters, 1 mouse, 2 birds, and I think that's it for right now. And I work in 2 different animal hospitals.
Oh, that's great.
So I always
that's great.
Things come home with me to.
Well, what is the function, Donna? What is the function of an owl? What does an owl do? Yeah, why does nature have such a thing as an owl? I mean,
population growth. Basically, what they're there for, just like a lot of other things, like different kinds of chickens that don't fly, like guinea hens. They can fly a little bit. They can't fly distance. Guinea hens are good for ticks. They're awesome. If you live on a little bit of a farm and you're inundated with ticks, that's their primary food. An owl goes after the mice, the rats, little things like that. So you always find them. That's why they call them barn owls.
Right.
And what
They
about
get rid of the population of rodents.
the bat problem in New Jersey? I keep reading or hearing that there's a shortage of bats. Do you know anything about that? Is that in your field?
Yeah. That there was some kind of a virus that went around that bats brought into this area, and a lot of them died off. And nobody knows why, but it was just, there was some kind of a virus, and it actually made them go blind. They would foam from the mouth. Nobody knew what it came from, but bats are awesome for all kinds of bugs.
Yeah.
Mosquitoes especially.
The impact that it would have on our ecosystem if we did not have, in society, in our lives, if we did not have bats and
don't forget our number one, the bees.
The bees, yes. Without, the pollination and.
This summer I didn't see any bees. I don't know if you saw bees. Donna, you see, years ago you opened up a can of.
Came to Pumpkin Lake.
They were up there?
Oh, yeah.
When I was a kid, you couldn't eat a piece of watermelon outside in the summer. The bees would be all up and down your arm. They'd be all over it. But somebody told me there's a shortage of bees in New Jersey. I don't know if that's true.
Do you know that without any bees, that
nothing pollinates?
Nothing pollinates. Exactly. It would be such a massive change, and for the negative, for the worse.
Well, sure. You need the bee. You have a male and female of everything. A male artichoke and a female artichoke. I'll teach you about that someday. No, it's true. They have to be pollinated, otherwise you have nothing. So what are you doing up there? You just have a day off, Donna, or are you working?
No, hon, I have a day off on Friday. I'm working right now, but I figured you're on a Wednesday. I clicked on. I'm listening to you. Sounds great so far. Keep up the good work.
You helped make it great. Thanks so much for calling.
All right, Donna, thank you. Have a good day, and you keep rescuing those animals. A nice woman there. That's
She loves what she does. That's the most important thing in life.
Yes.
She wanted to be with animals. She's, like she said, she worked for 2 animal hospitals. She's rounded up. There's been stories about her in the papers up north. She would find a wounded deer, for example, or a wounded any kind of little animal, and bring it and try to fix it up and get it going. Really
Right.
good-hearted people.
Yeah, no, that's nice to know that people will actually. And now, would you do something like that if, let's say, you're outside counting your fluffy-tailed squirrels, trying to predict what the winter's like, and you see would you intervene if a cat was trying to eat a small little fluffy newborn bunny? Would you interrupt that circle of life?
I probably would. I would do something. I had a deer once, and we're talking living 12 miles west of New York City, but a deer was hit by a car, a pregnant deer of all things, and the mother walked into our backyard.
Right.
And she actually ended up, she was wounded, but she gave birth to the baby eventually.
Right.
But here's the point I'm trying to make. Our neighborhood loaded with dogs, big noisy dogs would bark at everything.
Right.
I noticed that when the mother was giving birth, the deer mother, was a doe, I guess, was giving birth, all the dogs were quiet. You couldn't hear a dog bark.
Right.
They knew something. They just know things that we don't know.
Right.
And it was kind of a beautiful thing. And then, of course, but I love animals. I love dogs. I'm a dog lover.
Yeah. No, dogs are great. Cats, they're not meant to be domesticated.
Either are starfish. There's not much of starfish.
You watch too much SpongeBob. For a man who doesn't have a TV.
I wasn't thinking of that. SpongeBob isn't a starfish, is he?
No, but Patrick on the show is Patrick Star is the starfish
and
on
who's
SpongeBob.
Squidward
is another character on the show. He's a squid.
Oh.
And SpongeBob is the kid in the shape of a sponge.
Well, the guy who created this SpongeBob phenomena, somehow David Byrd from the Uncle Floyd Show pointed out to me a few times he's given thanks to Uncle Floyd Show for some kind of things over the years. I don't know. It's not in my scope of life. I don't know who it is.
John Kinney, I think.
David Byrd knows him. I don't know him.
Yeah.
I don't know this.
There's so many people in this business. I can't keep track of all the names of the creators and whatnot.
Who am I?
Aunt Martha.
Okay. Close enough.
All right, why don't you give out the phone number, Floyd?
Oh, it's 1-2. You have to say 1 all the time?
Well, it's always good to do so.
Okay, 1-201-503-5693. 1-201-503-5693. And you could talk to me, yours truly, in person.
Or if you want to send an email, it's unclefloydradio@gmail.com. And if anybody's calling in and you're not able to get through, You will reach a voicemail that says we're not accepting phone calls, but just leave us a message, and we're going to try to get back to you within this show. We're on till 4 o'clock today, so join us each hour.
And they could talk about anything. We don't establish a topic like normal radio show says, well, what do you think about this? Right. Hot dogs or hamburgers? Which one do you like better?
Yeah,
and people call up and say, well, who cares?
Before we open the mics, okay, Floyd, what are you going to take, pro or con? And
no.
No, we don't do that.
We want to hear from the people.
That's right.
Reality radio.
The people are what makes New Jersey what it is. Okay, all of you listening out there, you make New Jersey what New Jersey is, which I'm trying to find this song right now that I was just taken back by, that I did not know existed. It's off one of your one of your LPs, and I can't find it in the computer right now.
No, it's not from an LP. The one where I mention all the
all
towns?
the Jersey towns, yeah.
It's called I Like Jersey Best.
Yeah, I Like Jersey Best.
We did it in a TV show. And then the people wanted it, so we made a copy of it. It was going to be a 45. It was going to be a 45, but it never became a 45. But it surfaced and it's been bootlegged around. That's where you got a copy from that, from a CD somewhere.
Yeah, I'm looking for it right now, actually. To see
While you're looking for that, can I say something in defense of our state, of the Garden State?
Sure, go ahead.
We are one of the only states of the 50 states in this great country that is totally self-sufficient. In other words, we can still grow enough food to feed our own people. We have, and we're not even talking about the ocean. We could fish off of that, but we have enough military here to defend ourselves. We have the contrast from the, you name it, the Meadowlands. Do you know the story of the Meadowlands?
Yes.
That was cypress trees. Cedar trees. The
Cedar
Dutch
trees.
came and knocked everything down and created that mess. That became a mess. But there was natural clay pots there. The clay, everybody came for the clay.
Right.
So we had more clay than any other state. We were, up until recently, the number one cranberry state. I think Wisconsin now passed us up. But they're 20 times bigger than us.
Yeah, and they have the capability of the mass production and distribution. But, New Jersey is so diverse with what comes out of it and what's produced. I mean, farmland, technology, pharmaceuticals. It's one of the most diverse states.
Because each county is like its own little country.
Right.
There is a world of a difference between Hudson County and any other county you can throw out there.
That's right.
It's like two different little countries. But I love it. I love the state.
Yeah, there's nothing better than the state of New Jersey. I've often thought of moving to Pennsylvania, other states. And now, when I look back at it, I say to myself, there's nothing like New Jersey.
What about California?
California, I would like. That's one state I could see myself living in.
Well, it has its faults.
Well, it doesn't have
Uncle. Corny of a joke. In other words, you don't get it.
I got it.
Well, you don't need.
We
to
have
smile.
earthquakes here too.
The day we had one.
Do you remember that one?
I was sitting at my writing, and the whole table started to shake, and I heard rattling. I says, "What the heck's going?" I thought there was a mouse in the cabinet or something running around. We were in shock.
A mouse.
An animal, not these kind that you play with here in this.
Because a mouse wouldn't cause any major vibrations. I mean, unless
we have very delicate dishes.
Yeah, I was going to, unless you're living in a house made of balsa wood, then I could understand that. All right, let's go to the phone here. Welcome your next caller.
Welcome to UncleFloydRadio.com.
Hello?
Yes, hello. Welcome. I'm Uncle Floyd, and you're on UncleFloydRadio.com.
Hey, Uncle Floyd, this is Manny from Rahway.
Manny from Rahway. Everybody's from New Jersey today. This is great.
That's great. That's great. How you doing, Manny?
I'm doing good, Joe. I wasn't sure I was on because it just put me on, and I was listening to you talk. I thought I was just actually got a feed of the show, but.
No, well, that's Joe Lemire's fault. He should have said to me, Floyd, this is Manny from Rahway.
Well, what am I, a mind reader? We like you even stated it yourself. We like to take the calls without screening them.
That's real. It's real. It's
real.
No
problem.
It's real radio.
No problem.
How are things going?
I was just sitting home on Facebook, and I saw a post that said you were on today, so I jumped right onto the computer and I'm really excited to talk to you, Uncle Floyd.
Manny, let me ask you a question. Are you familiar with Facebook and the technology and the internet? Are you pretty well, up to par with?
Yes, I am. I do a podcast myself, and I've been involved in Facebook since it started.
Can you explain to Uncle Floyd that how powerful of a marketing tool Facebook is?
Oh my God, it's it is amazing. I'm involved with a bunch of people around the world we all do our own shows, and it's amazing the contacts I've gotten all over the world just from putting a simple little podcast. I'm a mailman. I call my show Special Delivery, and I just basically record myself while I'm delivering mail.
Really?
And,
Special delivery,
and,
as opposed to general delivery.
Yeah, real creative.
No, it's wonderful, Manny.
I've gotten contacts all over the place from just putting my show out on Facebook, and
yeah.
Let me ask you this:
good.
When are the stamps going to go up another penny?
And I think it's next week, boy, believe it or not.
Manny, why doesn't the Postal Service, the U.S. Postal Service, just raise the rates a penny per week or month? Instead of coming up, what's a stamp now? 40, 48, 46 cents?
I invested in Forever stamps.
So did I.
When they were 29 cents.
Right.
Look at the profit I made.
I have some here in the studio with us today. I remember when they were 20 cents, 18 cents, 20-cent stamps. The United States of America, brace yourself. The U.S. Postal Service has now increased their postage 60 cents per stamp. Don't smack us in the face like that. Give us this 1 cent, 1 cent, 1 cent, 1 cent.
Listen, I have a more important question for Manny from Rahway than this.
Go ahead.
Manny, you there?
Yes, boy.
How's the Rahway Theater doing, the big theater you have in your town?
Oh, it's doing tremendous. It's now called the Union County Arts Center. It had a total rehab, and it's really doing well. They have a lot of bigger acts coming in. It would really be a great place to have an Uncle Floyd show, though.
Well, I've been there a few times because whenever I went there, Trooper's Deli down the street would send over sandwiches and things for free. It was wonderful. I don't know if Trooper's Deli's probably not there anymore. Trooper.
I'm not sure on that, but they did just refurbish it, and the Union County took it over and threw a ton of money into it, and it's in real fine shape right now. And they also just created a second place called the Hamilton Stage, a smaller venue. So they're trying to turn that downtown area into an arts district.
And I know they saved the organ in the theater. They saved the organ. They had a beautiful old organ there. I imagine that's been totally. I believe it's been refurbished or restored. I don't know.
The whole place was about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. They shut down for almost a year and did the whole place over. And yes, the organ's still there, and it's pretty sharp right now.
Well,
and,
Manny,
they're starting to get some bigger,
Why don't you go? I'll tell you what. If I'm ever there, or when I'm there the next time, you're going to be on my guest list, okay?
Oh, thank you, Floyd. I'd appreciate that. I have a question for you, Uncle Floyd. This goes back to the 70s. Do you remember doing a live appearance in Elizabeth, New Jersey at a St. Rocco's Italian Festival?
Yes, I do, in the Petersburg section.
That's it. All right, now this is like a story that my mom told me because I wasn't there, but she went to the festival and she came up to the stage knowing that I was a big fan, and I asked for your autograph, and she said that you brought her up and talked to her and asked her if she liked the show, and she goes, "No, I think you're stupid." Do you remember that at all?
Well, I don't remember her saying I was. You had me up until that point, but I used to do the St. Rocco feast in I think it was Peterstown. They call it Peterstown.
Right.
So it was called the Little
Right,
by
yeah,
3rd Avenue.
That's where I grew up.
Because they used to send over pastry from the Bella Palermo pastry shop.
Right.
Used to give me free cannoli and
Good memory. Good memory.
Well, I can remember it. When it comes to food, I remember everything.
Right. Hey, hey, Manny, before I forget, as Uncle Floyd invited you to be on that guest list, do me a favor. Send an email to unclefloydradio@gmail.com so this way he'll have a copy of this and I'll have your contact information and your name. And this way we can see that if he ever gets there, he'll make sure he puts you on the list. Believe me, I'll see to it that he does.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Manny. Thank you for the wonderful...
Go ahead, Manny.
I'm sorry. One last thing, Floyd. My wife is also a mail carrier, and she delivers to Skip Rooney.
Well, there must be a lot of third notices you sent to him. Payment due, third notice.
All right, Manny. Thanks for calling the Uncle Floyd Radio Show.
Well, that's
so she's a mail carrier. I mean, she delivers men, or is it that?
No, in my neighborhood,
does she carry mail delivery?
The women carry the mail now.
Right.
The women, for years, the male has carried the woman. Now they're carrying us.
And that's great. I think
not?
it's great that a lot of female mail carriers. Mm-hmm. So that's good. Could you ever picture yourself being a
mailman?
Yeah.
I would waste too much. I understand. I should have asked Manny this, but I heard they're not allowed to just stand there and talk forever with the. Years ago, the mailman would come over. Sometimes you'd make him a sandwich.
Right.
Give him a little iced tea in the summer.
Right.
You talk and how's this and what's that.
Well, how do you think I came about? I mean,
no, seriously. I mean, they were part of the fabric of a neighborhood. The mailman
in Newark back in those days,
And everybody knew the mailman. We knew they knew everything. They knew everybody on their route. But now I think there's a time limit, and I know that's true for a couple of delivery guys. I mean, what are the UPS guys told me that?
Yeah, actually, the Postal Service now, certain homes have barcode stickers they put on the mailboxes inside, and they have to scan it as they go along.
So their time is recorded.
Their time is recorded. Yes.
Well, isn't that something? They go right down to the penny. Well. Somebody's got to watch the money, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, listen, we're going to take a quick break here, and we'll be back with the Uncle Floyd Radio Show. It's 201-503-5693, 201-50-FLOYD. That is the telephone number, and we'll be back shortly, right after this, on UncleFloydRadio.com.
I like Jersey best. Orange East, Orange West, Orange South, Orange. I like Jersey best. And I've seen all the rest. And Jersey is the best. Emerson, Harrison, Madison, Patterson. I like Jersey best. Englewood, Ridgewood, Ringwood, Wildwood. I like Jersey best. And I've seen all the rest. And Jersey is the best. Lakewood, Norwood, Beechwood, Collingswood. I like Jersey best. Asbury Park, Prospect Park, Midland Park, Florham Park. I like Jersey best. I've seen all the rest, and Jersey is the best. Elmwood Park, Ridgefield Park, Palisades Amusement Park. I like Jersey best. Jersey City, Ocean City, Union City, Atlantic City. I like Jersey best, and I've seen all the rest, and Jersey is the best. Neckong, Matita-Kong, even Lake Apacong. I like Jersey best. Trenton, Clifton, Burlington, Wallington, I like Jersey best. And I've seen all the rest, and Jersey is the best. Somerville, Pennville, Manville, Sayreville, I like Jersey best. Northfield, Ridgefield, Westfield, Bloomfield, I like Jersey best. I've seen all the rest, and Jersey is the best. Teterboro, Glassboro, Hillsboro, Totowa-Boro, I like Jersey best. New Brunswick, East Brunswick, South Brunswick, North Brunswick, I like Jersey best. I've seen all the rest, and Jersey is the best. Phillipsburg, Guttenberg, Chambersburg, Jamesburg, I like Jersey best. Morristown, Bricktown, Heightstown, Hackettstown, I like Jersey best. And I've seen all the rest, and Jersey is the best. Englishtown, Middletown, Parkertown, Eatontown, I like Jersey best.
The word is spreading. More and more people are switching to Ambit Energy.
Well, one of my neighbors switched, and then I switched. Now the whole neighborhood has Ambit.
Who doesn't want to save money?
The word is spreading. Switching to Ambit Energy is rewarding in more ways than one.
I signed up and got a travel reward. That's nice.
Oh, I get to save on energy and on travel?
There's a cruise for two out there just a few thousand kilowatts away. I can almost smell the sunscreen.
The word is spreading. Ambit Energy even lets you earn free energy.
When I get 15 friends to switch, I get free energy. I have 15 friends. At least I think I do.
Hey, I'd be telling people to switch to Ambit anyway.
If you'd like to switch to Ambit Energy, listen to the following contact information closely. Then spread the word.
If you would like to save on your monthly energy bill, contact Ambit Energy independent consultant Joe DeSimone at www.jdsimone.joinambit.com. That's www.jdsimone.joinambit.com.
And now, here's the man. Believes knowledge is knowing that a tomato is a fruit and wisdom is not putting it in a fruit salad. It's Uncle Floyd.
What do you have to say about that one?
That's the tomato?
Yeah.
Oh, no, but I still can't get over where you dug that I Like Jersey Best thing up.
You like that?
I love this little announcer you have here.
Yeah.
Is she about 5'9" with long blonde hair?
No.
No?
No.
Her voice is... anyway, but where did you dig that? I Like Jersey Best. I remember that thing that you got. That's on a bootleg something.
No.
Yeah, well, anyway, it wasn't bad. If I say, I'm very critical of my own stuff, but I remember reading those names of those towns.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought it was well composed, well played, and
definitely that was a studio piano. That wasn't the TV piano.
Right. No, and I don't think the public.
They know about it.
Yeah.
There's stuff floating around there all over the place.
But still, the masses listening right now, probably the first time they've
Maybe
ever heard
I'm
it.
going to release it on my new 45 coming out in a couple of weeks.
Your new
That's
wax
A-side.
cylinder. We've got a wax cylinder coming out.
I had cylinders.
Edison record 802. I wonder what's become of Sally Aaron Burr.
Oh, boy.
I love that stuff.
Well, you know what? We are working on, I guess we should tell people that Deep in the Heart of Jersey, we're contemplating a new version of Deep in the Heart of Jersey. Because there's key elements. Well, we don't want to wipe the old song off the map. There's key elements that are relevant to today.
When you hear the Parkway Man takes a quarter from your hand,
People say, what the hell is that?
You can't even get off the exit ramp for that.
Yeah, I know.
I know a guy who had to stay on all night because he couldn't have a quarter.
You know what? Actually,
get off.
You know how many
can't get off. They pull over and they say,
"Come on, be honest. That man was you."
They sit and wait.
Okay, you wanna be daring here? Let's.
Yes. Who's this?
Talk to your caller here. Say hello.
Welcome to UncleFloydRadio.com. You're on the air.
Hello, this is Mrs. Walker.
Yes, Mrs. Walker. How are you?
Yes, is Dennis Monks there, please?
Who?
Dennis Monks.
No, he's not here. Why do you want to?
Asid told me that Dennis Monks was going to be there. He said that you told him last week that he would be on your show today.
Oh, wait a minute.
And I was calling to talk to him.
What? Wait a minute. You mean Dennis Monks, the washboard man, and the one-man band?
Yeah, Asid told me that he was going to be on your show. He told me, and I wanted to talk to him. Who are you?
Who is Hayseed or Asid?
Asid, the guy with the convenience store.
Oh, the guy at the convenience store.
Yeah.
This my store man, Asid. Who are you?
I'm Uncle Floyd, but you're mistaken.
Can we get this damn washboard man in here already?
No, wait. Maybe some.
Do you play the washboard?
No. I play the piano, and Dennis Monks has joined me on many shows playing the washboard. That's all that is. But he's not on this show. He's not a cast member.
Well, that wasn't nice of you to tell Asid. I canceled my doctor's appointment today to talk to Dennis Monks. I have a foot fungus. And they told me I could call. I don't know why I'm talking to you.
Please, Mrs. Walker.
I
don't
know. Now what am I
to
going to do with my foot fungus?
Well, you can.
I want to talk to Dennis Monks. I don't know you.
He's not here. Listen, we don't have Dennis Monks on the show.
Yeah.
He's not on this show. He's a friend of mine. I know him for many, many years. We have to let you go. I'm awfully sorry. I don't know.
Yeah, the best advice I can give to you with the foot fungus, dice it up and put in some tomato sauce like you would with a mushroom, okay?
Go soak it in the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah.
That salt water will cure
some
anything.
Epsom salt, yes. All right.
Well, anyway, she was persistent, right?
Yes, that's right. That's right. And I'll tell you that I love it. That's what makes New Jersey so unique.
The ocean can cure.
Yeah.
Like kids years ago used to get impetigo. Do you know what that is?
Yes, impetigo, yes.
Impetigo was when little boys played in the dirt. Years ago, you don't see it now. There were holes on everybody's lawn.
Right.
You drive through a neighborhood, you see holes. Little boys dug holes, and they put water in it and then threw stones or whatever. That's what little boys used to do.
Right.
And they would get this impetigo, kind of an itchy thing all over your body from dirt.
Right.
And if you dipped yourself in the New Jersey Ocean, it went away. The impetigo went away. Also, poison ivy.
Yes.
I'm one of those people. If it blows on me, I get it bad.
Really?
Yeah, but I didn't get it this past year, but I usually get it.
Yeah.
And I would go down to the ocean, the salt water, the poison ivy would disappear in minutes.
Well, you know what causes the poison ivy?
The ivy plant.
Yeah, it's the oil.
It's right.
Right, it's the oil. So if you can remove the oil from your skin.
That's what the salt does, right?
Yes,
The
yes.
salt
It
water.
actually eats the oil. It dissolves the oil.
And you know when a lot of people get poison ivy, they get it in the fall. Well, they don't now. They're not allowed to burn leaves, but years ago people would burn leaves.
Right,
and there'd be dead poison ivy plants in there. And when that burnt, they actually got the poison ivy from the smoke.
Right. Well,
from burning leaves.
You can poison ivy inhalation.
God, that's dangerous. Though.
Internally in the lungs. But I mean, I know, as you asked that question, when people get poison ivy, it's usually when they walk through a poison ivy bush.
They just have to brush it.
Yeah. So
that's it. It's the bottom of the leaf, not the top, not the shiny part.
Right. Leaves of 3, let them be.
I know nature. I'm very nature.
Yeah, I know. We I'll leave that one alone.
I know. I could survive. Although I think I could pick wild mushrooms. I'm definitely afraid to try, but I think I can. I think I could survive. If you drop me off in the Eagle Rock Reservation in West Orange, I bet I would be able to survive.
You probably would be.
Just on mushrooms, no vitamins in mushrooms, but they fill you.
Right. And you may have a toe fungus issue like Mrs. Walker eventually.
I don't know what her problem was. I don't know. Some people have. She seemed like a nice lady, but she canceled the doctor's appointment to hear this show because she thought this guy was going to be on. Anyway, that's we have all New Jersey people today.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. We have a lot of people listening, and want to give a shout out to Costco.
Yes.
We have a Costco in the area, I believe, that is streaming the show live throughout the store.
Well, we ought to go down and get some free samples. What do they have? What are they serving today? What's for lunch? Ravioli. I always get the ravioli, shrimp, those little tiny hot dogs with the mustard.
Right.
They give them in little cups.
Right. It's.
Oh, I love that.
It changes so frequently. It's every time I go in, it's something.
You got to know how to
different.
work. Oh, you got to know how to work it. You see, sometimes they say, "Excuse me, can I have 2 because I have to bring one." Somebody's with me, but they can't come here right now.
Yeah,
and they give you 2, and you go.
They're around the corner getting the potato knishes and saying the same thing, pitching the same thing. So.
Oh, the potato knish. You like knishes?
No, I'm more of a knosher. So.
You can make your own so easy. You just take
know.
the mashed potato, and then you put the breadcrumbs around it and a little egg if you want, and fry it up, and it's ready.
Right.
Uncle Floyd Food Network cooking channel.
You know what? That as much as we've talked about this, and we've known each other a long time, you are you should have your own cooking show.
Well, the people who know me really know me. Know that I love to cook. I must say I'm a pretty good cook.
Right.
Not a chef. Not the
cook.
chef. I'm a cook, and I don't bake. I don't make cake. I never made a cake, and that's another whole art form.
Yeah.
But I fed. I cooked for 120 relatives a couple of weeks ago. I love it. It's the only thing in life that relaxes me.
Yeah.
And people who know me, strictly Italian stuff,
Right. Now,
rustic dishes, nothing fancy.
when you make spaghetti, is it gravy or sauce?
Well, that's very easy to answer. The word gravy comes from the Italian word ragu, which means when you have tomato sauce, and the minute it's tomato sauce, salsa di pomodori, but the minute you put meat in the sauce, it becomes ragu, not salsa di pomodori. So the children of the immigrants would call it gravy instead of ragu,
Correct.
or in dialect rau, without any pork or veal or sausage or meatballs in it, it's or braciole, it's tomato sauce.
Correct.
Once the meat goes in, it becomes gravy. Now, do you know the difference between pasta and macaroni? They're not the same thing.
Aside from the shape?
Well, you're close, but go ahead. You don't know.
Fill me in.
Macaroni you can breathe through, you can blow. Macaroni has a hole, like ziti is
Hollow.
macaroni.
Correct.
It's not, ziti is not a pasta, it's macaroni.
Right. I thought you meant an ingredient in the process of making it or something.
I know what I'm talking about. I don't know much, but I know how to cook.
That's why I'm saying you should have an Uncle Floyd cooking show. I'm sure
we may do this someday. We'll have a special page.
Yeah, exactly.
I used to cook on TV. Julia's stepchild. I had a character. The one show we made baked E.T.s. When the movie E.T. came out, we took these little E.T. dolls and we put them in an oven.
Was it an easy bake oven?
Baked E.T.s.
Was that the oven that was like all dented up and?
Yeah, and it clanged and banged, and the technical crew used to say, "Uncle Floyd, your show is too noisy. It's making clanging and banging sounds." I said, "That's good. Leave it in."
Well, it definitely made it an interesting program. All right, 201-50-FLOYD. That's 201-503-5693. If you would like to talk to Uncle Floyd on the Uncle Floyd Radio Show, also at UncleFloydRadio.com. And you can find us on Facebook also, the Uncle Floyd Radio Show.
You know, I see you have on this thing here. What do you call this?
This is a
Screen?
computer.
Oh, okay. They have a little American flags with all these callers' names next to them. Those are people that are in contact with us in the United States?
These are the people listening right now to the show.
But they don't have anybody from Europe or Canada.
Well,
you said we were all over the world.
Yes. Well, we're in a different time zone than most other places. And first of all, Canada, which means there's nothing there.
No, I explained that.
Yes.
But some people may have missed it. It means Canada in Portuguese. The word is Portuguese.
Yes. But as I explained to you the other day, that in the overnight hours, we had people from England listening.
That's true.
Okay. So based on the time zones, it's, people are home right now.
But I made a mistake. It's Portugoose, not Portuguese. Geese is plural.
Portugoose. You're a funny man.
A man from Paris is a parasite, in other words. You have to know, you have to enter the English language.
Well, so far there's, just so we know, 1,362 total listeners.
Well, that's listen. I have a son in Paris who works now for 2 years in Paris, France.
Right.
He works for a company in New York. Make a long story short, he said, "Dad, this is the modern world today. This is the way it is." His generation. He's 30 years old. He says, "This is what young people have to do." Right. I said, "This is the modern world. This is the new way. This is what your great grandparents did. They came from Europe to here to make a living.
Right.
And now we send you to college, and you have to go all the way there to make a living."
Right.
That doesn't. I don't understand.
Well,
No, I understand, but I mean, it's ironic, isn't it?
It is ironic. It is ironic, but some people like to go abroad.
I have a friend. He sent his son to college, and what did he do? He went to college, and then he gets an apartment. And he was raised in the suburbs,
right?
And he gets an apartment, a fourth floor walk-up rickety-tickety apartment for like $3,800 for a 2-room. The apartment was so small, the mice were hunchback. That's how small it was. So small, you had to go outside to change your mind.
The
room. Oh, you want at least? It was so small, you stick a key in the keyhole, you broke the back window. The room was so small, you bent over, the doorknob got friendly with you. So he said, "How do you do this? I sent you to school. We did everything possible to get you out of these neighborhoods. Now you go to college, you get a good job, and you move back into a fourth floor walk-up.
Right.
This is the way it is."
Yeah. Well, it is what it is. All right, we're coming up to the top of the hour. It's 1-201-50-FLOYD. That's 1-201-503-5693. Going to take another break here. If you'd like to talk to Floyd, get on the phone right now. We got time for one more call this hour, and then we're going to actually talk about a few things coming up in the next hour.
Wow, I'm ready.
Yeah, more structured right here. Okay. Quick break, and we'll be back with you momentarily right here on UncleFloydRadio.com.
In today's busy world, many of us tend to forget how important it is to maintain a healthy lifestyle. But there's one thing that we will never forget how to do, and that is how to ride a bicycle. So if you're looking to shed a few extra pounds while exercising in a fun and safe way, check out the Central Jersey Bicycle Club of New Jersey. Originally founded in 1968, the Central Jersey Bicycle Club is one of the oldest and largest, most active bicycle clubs in the entire country. The Central Jersey Bicycle Club sponsors several rides throughout the year, such as the Farmlands Flat Tour, the Hillier Than Thou Ride, and the Longest Day Ride, a 200-mile bicycle ride from High Point to Cape May, New Jersey, while the club sponsors 10-mile jaunts taken at a leisurely pace to rides that span multiple New Jersey counties. The Central Jersey Bicycle Club has rides for bicyclists of all abilities. How do you become a member of the Central Jersey Bicycle Club? It's simple. Just visit www.cjbc.org. That's www.cjbc.org. Visit their website today and start that ride to a healthier lifestyle.
This Valentine's Day, turn your romantic situation over to the situation with Jersey Shore Valentine's Day cards.
Valentine's is what love is all about. Now meet me in the parking lot and we'll pound one out. Oh, that is so romantic.
This year, Cupid's got a spray tan and is drinking vodka and Red Bull for Valentine's.
When I met you, I got so lucky, you knocked me out like I was Snooki. Yeah, fist pump.
Perfect for any Guido or Guidette. They're Jersey Shore Valentine's Day cards.
Get ready, Valentine, for a romantic night. We'll drink till we puke and get into fights. Oh, I love that douche.
Jersey Shore Valentine's Day cards. Available wherever Ed Hardy shirts are sold.
Now watch your step, they're all hanging round that old jamboree, singing low and singing high and golly gee, come on now, hail, the gang's all here for the Alabama Ladies and gentlemen, my special guest, Mr. Jacques Duclos. Jacques, thanks for being on my album. You know, Jacques, did you ever meet anybody important under the water? And you brought him along? And who is he, Jacques? Oh, the Tidy Bowl Man. How are you, Tidy Bowl Man?
That's the worst thing I ever heard. Why would you put that?
It's yours.
I know it's mine, but it had its time. It had its time.
You told me it was a song.
No. You played a song called Alabama Jubilee.
That was Alabama Jubilee?
Then that was Jacques. There was a guy, Jacques Cousteau, years ago. We used to do a parody on him. Jock Too Close or whatever we call him, the underwater man, and we would interview him. This is before SpongeBob. Hey, that's where SpongeBob came from. My idea of having a village of people under the sea.
There you go.
I never thought of that. You know, hey, I might have a lawsuit here.
Well,
I might have a lawsuit. I might have something here. If I could prove that I was doing this, but they weren't fish people, they were real people. But then again, Diver Dan was the first underwater show, Diver Dan.
Yeah, I mean, there were plenty of animated programs on when we were, when I was a kid, when I was younger, with people under the sea. I mean,
Lloyd Bridges was a Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea.
Right.
Wow, you don't remember that? You're too young.
No, that's I've heard of it, but
you don't remember Rudy Kazootie?
No, I don't.
You remember Bozo the Clown?
Yes, Bozo the Clown. Yes, I remember Bozo the Clown.
Skip Rooney, who was on my show, was Professor Tweety Hoffer.
I still laugh at I was listening to the program from the other day, and when you guys walked into that hospital, the caller was it Greg
Van Houten?
Yeah, Van Houten. When the doctor.
He broke his leg.
He broke his leg. Was it Dr.
What's the matter?
What's the matter?
Scott Gordon.
Oh, I crack up every time I hear that
We got
story.
thrown out of the hospital.
Yeah, you got thrown out of the
They
hospital.
absolutely made us leave. They had the security people came. He was dressed up as a doctor. We were just going to go try to make the young fella laugh. That's all. Cheer him up a little.
Right. And the damn hospital couldn't even appreciate real wholesome comedy.
That's a Valley Hospital, Ridgewood, New Jersey. That's where it was.
Right.
On Linwood Avenue.
Is it still there?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Linwood, sure. That's a big hospital, and it's not far from Route 17.
Right. Well, that's an oddity in this day and age.
What? Route 17, Diner Capitol Highway in New Jersey.
Yes.
More diners were on Route 17 than on Route 1.
Right.
This is true. For those who don't know, Route 17 begins like in the Newark area and goes all the way up to through Mahwah to the New York State border.
Yes.
It gets you up to Suffern. Then it becomes New York 17 in New York State.
Right.
And branches off when you get to Harmony. Not Harmony. What's the name of that? Harriman. Harriman. It's 17K, 17. All these different 17.
Well, when does 17 get to 18?
See, that's the thing that I was when I was on campaign, that I wanted to know who numbered the highways, because they're not. Route 17 is not next to Route 18.
Right.
Route 3 is closer to Route 80.
Right.
There's no logic to the numbers.
Right.
Route 21 and Route 22 actually meet at one point.
Right. Well,
but then it becomes Route 1 and 9 at that.
There is some logic to the numbers, that the even ones run east to west, the odd are north to south. Although they do run northeast, north south, southwest.
Mm-hmm. And 287 runs every direction.
Every direction.
North,
correct.
south, east, and west.
Right. So we have a call on the line. Oh. So why don't you welcome them to the show?
Welcome to UncleFloydRadio.com. Hello, you're on with me and Joe Lemire, and you're on our show. I guess.
Look, I want to know one thing. Why are you talking about me?
Who's talking about you?
You were talking about me with the hospital and getting kicked out of there.
Oh, this is Doctor. What's the matter?
Doctor, what's the matter?
What's going on? You never returned my stethoscope to me.
Your stethoscope? No, I didn't. He had a stethoscope, and it would be able to tell if the patient was alive or dead.
That's right. Yeah. I got a guy here. I think he's got the Zackley disease.
The Zackley disease? What's the Zackley disease?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to figure out. That's why I need the stethoscope. Come on, what's the matter with you?
Doctor, I had the snoo.
The snow? What's new?
Nothing's new with me. What's new with you?
Oh, come on. Stop that now. Take off the coat, my boy. Take off the coat.
Take off the coat, my boy. The coat is off.
The coat is off.
Doctor, what's the matter?
You know who this is? Can we break character here?
Yeah, if he wants to break character.
The one and only Scott
Gordon.
Scott Gordon from the Uncle Floyd Show.
How are you, Scott?
Doing good. Doing good. Just kind of sitting here. I was listening to you guys, and I heard you bantering my name about, so I figured I'd give you a call.
Yeah, it's an interesting. As I said, I laugh every time I hear it on the broadcast about that story of going into the hospital. I just what you guys did.
Should have seen it from our side.
Yeah. Is there any video of this? Did anybody? No film, no video.
I had my Uncle Floyd hat and jacket, plaid jacket and hat on. And for those who don't know, Scott Gordon, as Dr. What's the Matter, had a big red fright wig and a doctor's coat. And the stethoscope was a rope with a toilet plunger on the bottom of it. Right, Scott?
I actually had a nameplate that said Dr. Dokter. What's the matter? And the name tag was made by the guys in Valley Hospital, and then they kicked me out.
He used to go. He gave somebody. They says, "Who are you?" He says, "I'm Doctor. What's the matter? Here's my card. Doctor. What's the matter? M.E." The guy says, "What does that stand for?" He said, "Me."
Me.
Then they threw us out.
You know, Scott, it's incredible that you're still able to do that character and the voice.
Well, it's an easy voice to do for me to do. My father used to do that voice when I was like 3 years old.
Right.
To make me laugh.
Right.
And that's how I learned the voice.
You know, Scott, the best bit, you did a lot of great bits. I mean, it was a lot of fun, but we developed a speed eating thing. What was a funnel. And people didn't have enough time to eat, so we sat Scott on a chair.
We called it the Evelyn Food Speed Eating Course.
It was a takeoff on speed reading at the time.
Right.
Everybody was pushing
Speed reading, yeah.
So we had speed eating, and we put his head back in a funnel, this giant funnel, and we just poured all this food down it.
Now, this was into your mouth, Scott?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And I'm leaning back and poured an entire quart of orange soda in this huge funnel that's in my mouth. I couldn't swallow anymore. I started to laugh, and it erupted like a volcano.
That's funny. Oh, man.
We just had a lot of fun doing the show. Scott was one of the major people in the show for God knows all through from the 70s up to the very end, the last shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's you know, I don't think people realize, you know, with the changing of channels that you guys were on and people being able to follow, a lot of people moved away.
Right.
You know, that they missed, you know, growing up with it. Then they moved away. We talked to a couple people that had moved away to other states, and they weren't able to continue to watch the show. And just think about all they had missed as the show evolved.
Well, wait a minute. Let me tell you this about Scott. Because, Scott, you tell them about your relationship with Les Paul. Joe, you're young, but you know who Les Paul is?
Yeah, I know who Les Paul is.
Les Paul just passed away recently.
Yes.
Was probably the world's most famous guitar player, guitarist. Right, Scott? Tell us about Les Paul. You knew him very well.
Yeah, well, we moved to Mahwah in 1963. I was about 13 years old, and I discovered that Les Paul lived a mile and a half down the street from me.
Right.
And I knew his music. My father listened to his music, so brashness of youth. I just got on my bicycle, rode along the Ramapo River till I got to his house, knocked on his back door. He opened the door.
Right.
And I said, "Hi, Mr. Paul. I'm Scott from down the street. You need your studio swept out or anything?"
Yeah.
And he invited me in. I used to go there Saturday afternoons and clean out his studio, and I got to know what I know about electronics from Les Paul. I still have a scar on my finger from where his brother-in-law, Wally, was teaching me how to solder.
Right. That's incredible. That's incredible. I mean, he was a genius.
He was an absolute genius. He was literally the Thomas Edison of guitars.
Yeah. Wow.
He was amazing. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have multi-track recording. We wouldn't have reverb units or echo chambers or any of that stuff. He invented the whole thing.
Yeah. I mean,
in Mahwah, New Jersey.
Mahwah, New Jersey. Once again, proving the fact of how many great things have come out of the state of New Jersey.
And that was
right. And right now in the Marlowe Museum in Marlowe, New Jersey, any Wednesday, Saturday, or Sunday between 1 and 5, there's an entire display dedicated to Les Paul. It's running through June.
Really?
And if anybody has a chance, they should really go and see it. It's incredible. And the soldering iron I burned my finger on is there.
Right. Man, that's incredible. That is just incredible.
Scott knows a lot of things. We used to call him the Encyclopedia. That was his anything he could answer. And Scott, people don't realize this. He actually, he was a stage manager. He was an actor. He did theater work and played in an Italian band. He played the guitar in a very popular Italian rock and roll band.
Really?
Years ago, right, Scott?
That's right. That was in the 70s.
Leonocenti was their name.
Back in the 70s.
Wow, that's great.
So everybody has more dimension than he's more
Sure.
than just Doctor. What's the matter?
Hey, hold on one second, Scott Floyd. I just want to let you know I got a message through Facebook that Santiago Matir posted from through Facebook, sounding good down in the jungle of Nicaragua, Uncle Floyd.
Nicaragua.
Yes.
Well, tell them to send us some cigars. We need some cigars.
Yeah,
from
that would be
there.
great
Excellent,
here. Although,
excellent tobacco.
there's no smoking in the studio here, but we can enjoy those
Well, we
after
give them
hours.
we pass them around.
Yeah.
I would like to hear from Tierra del Fuego.
He always says this town, Tierra del Fuego. It's in California. No, Mexico, right?
It's not a town. It's a country.
It's a
country.
Where is it?
Oh, hold on. Somebody stumped Floyd.
Where is Tierra del Fuego?
It's in Central America.
Yeah.
But I know Guatemala, Nicaragua, Ecuador. I can't think of Tierra del country.
Well, they do pop up all the time.
It's been around for
It wasn't around when I was in. Now, when I was in school, never Tierra del Fuego. I thought it was some kind of hot sauce. Hey, Scott, you got to call up. You got to call up once in a while and bring back some of your characters because there's a lot of nostalgia. I mean, some of the people want to hear these things. Okay.
I will do that.
Well, hang on before you.
Wait, he's got it right here.
Got it right here, and this is one of the things, Scott. As we've talked about Floyd and technology. Tierra del Fuego is, and I'm kind of far from this screen here, is an archipelago off the southernmost tip of South America, the South American mainland, across the Strait of Magellan. So there you go. You stumped Floyd.
I know to speak Italian, it would be Terra del Fuoco in Italian. Tierra del Fuego. I mean, it must mean land of the fire.
Land of the fire.
Does it?
Something close to that, yes.
Well, see?
Yeah,
But I don't have to read these things.
He stumped Floyd. That is great.
I only surrounded myself with people that could do that. And Scott definitely.
That was great, Scott. Awesome job. We're going to have to make a regular out of this. Stump Floyd. We're going to have the listeners.
Stump me?
Stump you.
Okay.
Hey, Scott, we'll talk to you soon, okay?
Okay, good deal.
All right, Scott. Thanks for calling the Uncle Floyd Radio Show. Dr. What's the matter? Awesome man.
He played the stand-up bass, the guitar. Great guitar player.
Yeah.
Scott's wonderful on the guitar. And he did a lot of magic on the show.
Right.
He was also a magician.
Really?
And a psychic entertainer. And Scott got me booked at a psychic entertainers convention years ago.
Right.
And I went up and I said, okay, two guys are walking down the street. One guy said to the other, look at your shoe. What happened to your shoe? And then he said, and I didn't do a punchline, right? So I said, well, you guys are psychics. You fill in the punchline. Didn't go over at all.
Well,
thank God for you bailing me out with this show.
Yeah. 201-50 356-93 201-50-FLOYD. That is the telephone number. And you can give a call and talk to Uncle Floyd. We were going to talk about New Jersey diners. You mentioned the diners before.
Well, I didn't realize this till I was in high school, but Paterson, New Jersey, Silk City Diners was one of the number one manufacturer of the old tin diners. They went like train cars.
Right.
And they sent them all over Pennsylvania, as far north as way up past Albany, Schenectady, Troy, way up into the Lake George region. You'd see on a little sign, Silk City Diners.
Right.
Came from New Jersey. It was really a New Jersey thing.
Right.
And they were originally set up like train cars, like a train car. And if you look around in New Jersey, in Harrison, New Jersey, there was Max's Diner still had the ladies' entrance.
Right.
Up until, I think, the mid-1980s.
Ladies' entrance.
Ladies' entrance.
Wow.
That meant there'd, be no crude language.
Right.
Because a lot of tough guys, workmen went to lunch in a diner.
A lot of roughnecks.
Now they weren't elevated into the elegance that they are today.
Yes.
They were, one cook usually who was smoking and cooking at the same time. You have a favorite diner in New Jersey?
You know what? I've been to quite a few of them. I know some have closed down. One that was that I've been to, it was the Riverview Diner. Used to be on River Road in, I guess that's Middlesex, Piscataway border. And that actually was, a structure surrounded on either side. I believe they had they were real subway car or train, train subway cars.
The old silver, metal, and tin.
Yeah, from a long time ago. I mean, these were real rail cars they had.
Yeah.
And, they were built into the structure. They had the best, the thing was the gravy and fries, the brown gravy and the French fries. They had the best French fries and brown gravy. When I was back in high school, we would go there. I mean, this is going back, decades, but that was one of the things, after a, because I was in with the, the drama club, the AV club, all the productions and whatnot. After we would do one of our shows or whatnot, the whole cast, we would all pile in our cars and go to the Riverview Diner. And I believe it was the Riverview Diner. That closed down about 20 years ago.
Well,
that's a long time ago.
In New Jersey originally, well, not originally, but I remember it wasn't that long ago. It was an insult to look at the menu. That's how diners were.
Right.
You knew what they made, what was there, and you'd talk to them in diner code. You'd say, I want Adam and Eve on a raft.
Yeah, yeah.
A couple of eggs. They call them poached eggs now.
Yeah.
Soft-boiled eggs, we used to call them, on a piece of toast. Adam and Eve on a raft. That's how you would order things.
Right.
And they knew what you were talking about. It was a very colorful time.
Oh, those were the days before we went through the whole thing over the last decade and a half of, how the places are allowed to cook your eggs. Couldn't get poached eggs. You had to have your sunny side up eggs. You had to get them one way.
Well, I remember when men used to drink eggs.
Yeah.
I never did, but my father's generation, they'd put the pinhole in and drink.
Suck the egg out. Suck it out.
The protein was,
right.
I mean, I never did that. I didn't do that.
Right.
I didn't like that.
But diners, it's true. It's one thing, actually, 201-50-FLOYD, 1-201-503-5693. If you want to jump in on this, and let us know what your favorite New Jersey diner is, or diner in the state that you're in, whichever state it is. Just give us a call, 201-503-5693. Back to the diners. Yeah, you had those codes. And one thing that I've always noticed about the diners is it had to be like a diner code that every menu in a diner had the happy waitress. That was a happy waitress. And although I never had one, do you know what a happy waitress is?
What?
I'm asking you.
A happy waitress is one who's getting a nice tip.
Well, besides that, what the actual? Now I'm wondering if it was uniform from diner to diner.
No, I don't know. I don't recall that phrase. But I'll tell you what I learned years ago, guys used to go into a diner.
Right.
And not pay for their food.
Right.
They'd go out the bathroom window. Yeah. No, because it's low to the ground.
Right.
And you'd see the window would be open and someone would beat them for their money.
Yeah.
There was another scam guys used to do years ago. Two guys, let's say me and you.
Right.
We're working for the carnival or the local circus or somewhere. We don't have any money. Let's go eat in the diner.
Yeah.
Now, you know how they did it? They ate for free?
How?
I go sit at one end of the counter.
Yeah.
And you're at the other end of the counter.
Yeah.
You order a meal and a half, mashed potatoes, meatloaf, string beans, and a soup and everything.
Right.
All I have is a cup of coffee.
Right.
Okay? Now, after I drink some of my coffee, when we get the checks at the end, I go by you like I'm going to go to the men's room, and we switch checks.
Right.
Now, you have the coffee check.
Right.
I got the big meatloaf check.
Right.
You go check out now.
Yeah.
You pay your coffee 15 cents a cup of coffee.
Right.
And then I make a big fuss. Hey, what is this? So you give me, I didn't have meatloaf. I didn't have I didn't have this. And oh, calm down, sir. Calm down. They obviously gave you the wrong check. Oh, I'm not paying this. I didn't have this. All I had was a cup of coffee.
Right.
Then we would go to another diner and reverse the roles.
Do the same thing.
People used to do that years ago. They found ways to.
It was an odd form of rationing.
Well, going out the bathroom window, now you can't do that.
Yeah, most places have metal bars.
No, they don't even have windows anymore in the men's room.
Yeah.
But men got out of places going through the window.
Right.
You'd see a guy crawling out of a... The drop wasn't that high.
Yeah. Well, that explains it. Okay, let's get to the phones here, Floyd. You got a caller on the line.
Beautiful. Hello, welcome to UncleFloydRadio.com. I just said
Uncle Floyd, how you doing?
Good. I think you have to lower your...
Your listening device.
Your listening device.
Yeah, just lower that down a little bit.
Who is it?
Is that better or no?
I'm sorry?
Yes, that's
better. Is that
better.
working now or not?
Yes. What's your name?
This is Cheech. How are you guys?
Doing
Good,
okay.
Cheech.
Cheech, I'm calling from East Rutherford, New Jersey.
Yes.
How is everybody today?
Everybody's fine. Did you get the name Cheech from Francesco or Frank? Is your real name Frank?
No, my name is Lenny, but most of my friends call me Cheech.
Okay, well, most Cheeches come from Frank, from the name Francesco. Thus, we had Cheech.
Yep.
And anyway,
that's what they call me on the back of the garbage truck. When I worked for years, they used to just call me Cheech. Hey, Cheech, you're going to get this? Hey, Cheech, you're going to get that?
Well, at least they didn't call you Chooch. You know what Chooch is, Cheech?
No, not Chooch.
Or Choach.
I remember Chooch.
There's a big difference.
Are you talking about the diner?
Yes.
Yes.
The Bendix Diner in Hasbrook Heights is probably one of the best around.
You know, argument from me. It's still right there, right in the middle, right on the island, right?
Right in the middle of the highway. They never made it move or anything.
You can get it from 17 north or south.
Right.
Parking lots go both ways.
That's correct. And 46, too.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what's the name of this diner again?
Bendix, the Bendix.
Bendix.
It's Bendix.
Bendix.
Bendix, the Bendix Diner.
Okay. All right.
It should be a national landmark.
Well, I was calling. You were talking about how many people from Jersey, and they put Jersey on the map, and what about Palisades Park?
Ride the coaster, get cool in the waves, in the pool, you'll have fun, so come on over.
You remember?
Sure I remember.
You remember?
Yeah.
That was a great time to be, a teenager.
They had the largest what? I'm going to test your trivia. What did Palisades Amusement Park have that no other place had in the entire world? The largest what?
I know they had the big pool.
Well, you're close. The largest saltwater pool. It was a saltwater pool.
Saltwater? That's correct. I remember as a child, my father, we grew up in the Bronx, and that was where we would go.
Let me see if I can guess the neighborhood you came from in the Bronx. I'm going to get 3 guesses. East Tremont area? No.
Correct.
I got on the first shot.
On the first shot.
Wow. I could tell by the accent.
How did you know? Accent, it's probably the accent. That's like the whites always telling me, you're talking like you're still on over on Jerome Avenue.
Yeah, well, there's a Bronx accent, and there's variations of it. For example...
I know how you're able to figure these things out in one shot. You're translucent. I mean, you have to be.
I'm translucent.
Yeah.
But no, this is serious stuff. I was taught how to speak the Bronx dialect by friends from Arthur Avenue.
You didn't get that one.
Arthur Avenue's got some of the best Italian places around.
That's right, but now there's a street called East, and the numbers are 187 Street, okay? I'm not going to say it the way you're supposed to say. How would you pronounce the name of that street? I'm going to ask Joe Lemire. East 187th Street. What would you say? How would you say that?
That's East 180. That's East 87th.
Well, my point is most people in New Jersey say East 187th
Yeah, 187th Street.
No, you don't say 100.
No.
You say 100.
100. Yeah.
East
100. Yeah.
East 187th Street.
They don't put the 1 in there.
Yeah.
No.
They
And
never put the 1 in there. They're crazy.
100
But I just wanted to say that I think this is great. This whole show is great. It gives me something to do when I get up from my nap. and I appreciate it.
You sound like a hard-working man. What kind of work do you do, Cheech?
Well, I'm retired now. I was with the Department of Public Works, and that's a lot of hard work on the back of that garbage truck for years, freezing out in the winter.
I give you credit, man. Those things stink in the summer. You know, we put out some nasty garbage, and I give you credit for, you know, holding a position like that. That's...
You know, who's the worst? The Asians put out all this crazy food that's, I don't know what the heck it was, but we used to get sick. It smelled like dead eels. I don't know what it was.
You know, Cheech, years ago, we had on my TV show, we used to have the garbage collectors school where men were trained to how to handle the garbage pails. But back then, everything was metal. They didn't have plastic. So the first lesson was you take the lid off and throw it like a frisbee.
Yeah.
As far as you can, and we had a lot of fun with that. But
yeah.
No, I give you credit, Cheech.
Wait, one question, Cheech. Do you ever find anything really valuable that you got to keep as a garbage man?
Oh yeah, I used to pick up coins, and I used to pay. Believe it or not, my car insurance I used to pay with the change that I would find on the street.
Really?
Why do you find so much change? You must have went to a rich
Change
neighborhood.
is everywhere. No, and then my one friend who I work with, he found an old rifle.
Wow.
In a case. It was a beautiful. Someone died, I think. They cleaned out the house. He took the thing. I think he sold it for $200-300.
Wow, that's a rarity.
I have to ask you another question. What does a dead eel smell like? What would you compare it to?
Let me tell you. If you go on a Monday morning after the Korean restaurants put out all their bags, I'm telling you, you'll be throwing up all over the street.
I was going to say, I'm starting to heave just thinking about it.
Well,
you know, I mean,
it's not a good thing.
I was an avid fisherman and an angler, and I've used some, you know, eel. I would actually set drop lines out at night and catch eels as thick as my arm, right? And the next day, pull them in, cut the head off, and let them sit out in the sun that whole day and use them as bait that next night.
That's correct for bluefish.
Yes. And even
That's
after
exactly right.
one day, the stench from them sitting in the sun. Picture this 2 or 3 days.
You know, and that reminds me of, it takes me back to Palisades Park, because that's the first time, I think, a teen.
Right.
And I remember I met this girl, and we started to kind of get together, and that's the first time I ever got stink finger.
I knew that was going in that direction.
Did you ever go to Freedom Land up in the Bronx?
Oh, yes. Freedom's Land. Davies Lake we used to go to as kids. We didn't, have much money, but my dad made us, we did okay.
That's when a dad could tell his kids, "Let's go," and with $10 you can bring a family somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Cheech, you have to call us again sometime. You have a wealth of garbage stories that we really need to hear.
Yeah, I mean, that's incredible.
I love this guy's a great guest.
Incredible as a public works employee, on a garbage truck, a sanitation truck, the treasures that they would find. I hear stories all the time of the real high value items that they find.
Cheech has an art of describing things.
Oh, yeah.
Very rarely found in a typical caller.
Yeah, well,
wonderful.
Stink finger. That's
I
give him that one. 20150.
I just got up from a nap.
That was great. 20150 Floyd. That's 1-201-503-5693. So that was the Bendix.
He's talking about the Bendix Diner. There was another one, a classic one, the Teamsters Diner. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
Yes, I've heard of the
Fairfield,
Teamsters
New Jersey.
Fairfield, yes.
Beautiful. There's a few that are still scattered about in the woods. If you drive up into Sussex County off
Right.
the side. Sometimes you see an old
Yeah.
closed down diner.
Yeah.
At Fair Lawn, New Jersey, the Rambler Diner was
Diner.
well known. I mean, they all had their specialties.
Yeah.
Mostly a husband and wife ran them.
Yeah, but
Now today it's a big diners are totally different. I mean, we're not talking.
Yeah,
And every
definitely.
diner I know, all the owners are Greek, pretty much.
Right,
They're all
right,
Greek. Wonderful. And they make giant salads. I mean, years ago, nobody went and got a salad.
Yeah.
And men didn't eat salad.
Right.
And not especially in a diner.
Yeah.
That was the last
no,
thing you'd
I
have.
mean, this is some of the greatest meals are salad in the diners. You know, they piled high with, you know.
Today.
Today, yes.
Well, years ago, it was mashed potatoes, meatloaf.
Right.
That kind of fare, you know.
Right.
Maybe a steak all doctored up with 4 holes in it and butter.
Yeah.
Soften it up. Chuck steak with butter in it.
An
Yeah.
artery hardener.
Well, that was it. And some of them you could drink liquor. Oh, you have a call?
Yeah,
Well,
let's
tell
take
me.
another
Go
call.
ahead, sure.
Go ahead. Welcome them to the show.
Welcome to UncleFloydRadio.com. You're on with yours truly, Uncle Floyd, me. Hello? I don't... Mister, maybe it's a silent movie actor.
You know what?
What? I don't know, Joe. You tell me. This is your
They're
idea.
there.
Maybe they're listening. And
Maybe
they're
they
not
put us
aware.
on hold. Maybe it's another radio station.
Maybe the guy went to take a nap.
Yeah.
A lot of our people have been napping, I noticed. Yeah.
Well, caller, if you feel like calling back, give us a ring. 201-503-5693. All right, let's see. We got another call coming in here. Welcome to Uncle Floyd Radio. Who is this?
Yeah, name's Huey.
How you doing, Huey?
Okay, how are you?
Oh, I'm
Good to hear
doing.
Floyd again after all these years.
Yeah,
I'm here.
He's here.
Where is Huey from?
Yeah, it certainly is. Oh, I'm in Matawan.
Matawan. How's everything
Matawan,
down?
Monmouth County, Bayshore.
How's everything down in
North
Matawan?
Jersey coast.
How's everything down there?
Cold and dreary.
Yeah,
Rainy, wet.
yeah. I'm longing. I'm longing for summertime.
Yeah, I'm trying to get this. I'm trying to capture this hawk in my camera. I've been tracking it for months.
You know what? You just made Floyd cock his head to the side like a dog when it hears a weird, high-pitched whistle.
Wait a minute. This guy's been tracking one hawk?
Trying to get a picture of him.
Well, there's so many
Yeah,
hawks
it's a
out there.
It's a sharp-shinned hawk.
Right.
It hangs out at my bird feeder.
Really?
And I've got this delay on this stupid digital camera that the shutter doesn't click when you press the the shutter.
Right.
There's a half a second delay or a 1 second delay.
Right. That's a beautiful
Almost
hawk.
had it.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
looking at one right now online.
You do that these pictures he's looking at. Huey, what's the difference between a hawk and a crow?
Well, a crow is a cornid and a hunter.
That's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
A crow is a cornid?
Cronid, Kronid. That's by Latin terminology.
So a hawk in a fight would destroy a crow, right? Would I be correct?
Oh yeah. Hawks have talons and beaks.
Right. Tremendous strength.
Is it true that hawks steal things? I always heard from people that a hawk will come in your backyard and take a piece of aluminum foil or a toy and fly away with it, or shiny objects. Did you ever hear that?
My sister told me she had a sharp-shinned hawk that never fed too well when it was young, and she would put a welder's glove on and hold a piece of meat and would land on the glove.
Right.
And feed from her hand.
Wow.
Same kind of hawk, sharp-shinned hawk. But that was in California. But, it's a continuing thing. She's always got this hawk in her yard. Tells me about it all the time. But I got this hawk here. I've been seeing it for months.
Yeah.
Tried to get my cat. My cat was up on its hind legs, swatting at it one day, and the hawk was diving at it. And
Yeah, it's a hawk with very long legs, actually, and it's able to grab its prey, a wide variety of prey.
Yeah.
So short winged.
I know. I had it right in my viewfinder about a month ago. Perfect shot. Sunny day, I mean, it had its wings outstretched. I could identify it. I had my bird book with me. I mean, I knew what this hawk was.
A friend of mine
My
had.
neighbor just caught.
You know what's making a big comeback in the Garden State here now that we have bald eagles.
I saw one.
Yeah,
once.
yeah.
Bald eagles.
I called the
Yeah, I saw
Autobahns.
one up. I was working a job in Fairfield. Used to work construction.
Right.
And I saw one flying through the woods in Fairfield. Yeah, I've seen them. Doris Duke Farms. Well, they had an eagle cam.
Right.
Camera trained on the eagle, but it blew down during Sandy, I guess.
Floyd spotted a bald eagle up near him the other day.
I
and
used
then,
to sell toupees to.
yeah, I was going to say, he didn't know what to do. He hasn't seen one in so long. He called Hair Club for Men.
No. I have to ask Huey. You're fascinated. You know all about our friends, our feathered friends. How come we keep seeing more and more of these turkey vultures in New Jersey? Do you know what the turkey vultures are? Or are they called wild turkey?
Oh yeah, turkey vultures. Yeah, there's turkey vultures and there's black vultures that are common to Jersey. I haven't seen any. I've been watching them all my life. I'm 66. I haven't seen these things forever. I haven't noticed any increase or decrease in the population. I've seen trees, nesting roosts at night where there'd be hundreds hanging from, just roosting in big old oak trees. They're seasonal. A lot of them migrate.
Well, I guess. Can you eat these things? Are they? Do people eat
Oh
them?
no, they're horrible. No. They're pretty bad from what I hear. Toxic.
Though I didn't even think of it because they eat anything from roadkill, right? They eat anything.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they'll eat anything, but I don't think a person could eat one. I'm pretty sure it's toxic, to a human.
Right.
But there's one that looks really fat, and you mentioned there's two different kinds, and there's one that's black, right?
Yeah, the black vulture. Yeah.
The black vulture. They're not the same family?
Yeah, they're all vultures. The black vulture is somewhat shorter wingspan. Like I was at a nature center. I put my arms outstretched against the outline of a turkey vulture, and its wingspread was longer than my outstretched arms. But a black vulture is slightly smaller, and they're more aggressive. And they'll attack live prey, actually.
Wow.
A black vulture will. A turkey vulture won't.
Do you know, Floyd? Do you know where the word raptor comes from?
Yes, I saw it on these kids who get together and it's rap music.
No. Rap. Yeah.
Huey,
that's rapture.
That's yeah. It the translation for raptor, Huey. Do you know what the translation is?
What is this? A school? Are you giving us a test?
Well, you're not the only person that knows.
No.
Bird of prey.
Right. That's right.
Bird of prey. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In fact, going back
hawk
to
is a raptor, and so is an owl.
Yes, and going back to the times when dinosaurs roamed the earth, velociraptors.
Listen, I have to ask this, Huey.
Okay, they inverted, the pelvic bone, the air sacs in the bone structures, the skeletal system.
Right.
Bird of prey,
Yeah, I'm a student of
velociraptor.
anatomy, so I'm pretty familiar with.
No, he's right.
I'm pretty familiar with bone structure.
Yeah.
Huey, do you know anything about cardinals? The red cardinal.
I'm looking about. Yeah, I'm looking at 3 of them right at this very moment.
To me,
my bird feeder.
The cardinal is the most beautiful bird, but it seems to me that the same one do they keep returning to the same place? I look out my window and there's always 2 cardinals. What are they? They go in pairs? Is that it?
Yeah, they're usually in pairs. They travel very short distances. Until the George Washington Bridge was open, there were hardly any cardinals in Westchester or the Bronx or into southern New England. But once the George Washington Bridge opened, they were able to cross the Hudson. They really can't fly across the Hudson River.
They walked across the.
They scoot across. They scoot across the structure.
Yeah, they fly from. Yeah, they walk down the middle. Yeah, strutting. They got their red wings out. Morning.
I didn't know they were not good flyers. I think the cardinal is the prettiest of all the birds. I love
gorgeous.
Them. Yeah. But and they show up in the winter. You see, it seems they stay with us all winter in this part of the country.
Yeah, I got to tell you, right this very second, I'm looking at 3 bright red ones at my bird feeder. I mean, they're 25 feet away from me as I speak.
Wow.
Hanging out in my grape arbor. I'm gonna, they've been here all season long. They nest in the tree right nearby, and I must be looking at a pair and their offspring now, because there's a half a dozen that are regular visitors every day.
That's incredible.
But they don't have offspring in. I mean, only in the spring they have their babies, right? Isn't that true? Or?
Right. Yeah. That's what they call it, offspring.
I never thought of that.
No, really.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's incredible. You know,
you have to call us back from time to time and give us our update on. Are you a member of the Audubon Society by any chance?
No. Just a naturalist, I've been a nature boy since, that was my nickname when I was a kid. A derogatory term my neighbor kids use. Hey, nature boy, from Nat King Cole. That song was popular at the time. And,
right.
What do you have to say?
Everybody called me nature boy.
Huey, what do you have to say to these people who I hear it say from time to time that we should not feed these birds, these wild birds? We should not have feeders and we should not feed them. What's your take on that? So you seem to love these birds. What do you feel about that?
Yeah, well, the birds become dependent on the feeder, so you need to maintain it year-round. You can't just feed them occasionally. They actually become dependent. This is part of their local, their circle, their feeding territory.
Like children.
Yeah, except when the hawk comes around, then you
like
find
children.
dead doves. I find a lot of dead doves. I had a picture on Facebook, actually, of the remains of a dove scattered in the grass. But.
Well, this is you have to call back. We have to keep this guy Huey once in a while.
Yeah,
Huey,
definitely.
Huey from Mattawan.
Yeah, Huey, do us a favor, Huey. UncleFloydRadio@gmail.com. If you go to UncleFloydRadio.com, send us an email with your contact information so we have you on file, because this way we can reach out to you and have you on every so often, because
Okay, let me write the address down again. Uncle Floyd.
UncleFloydRadio.com is the website. If you go to the website, you can get the email address right off the front page of the website.
Okay.
Yeah, that was interesting. I mean,
fascinating.
I've
been a fan of the show forever.
Yeah,
well, I'm a fan of yours. I really enjoy your takes on your interest in the birds and all. It's wonderful.
Yeah,
I love that.
That's great, Huey.
Yep.
All right.
Take some music requests.
Yeah,
I just had eating spaghetti. Louis Coletti eats spaghetti.
No,
I
Eddie.
love that song.
How did you know that's Eddie Coletti? That was a fellow named Phil Cernicolo.
Scott Gordon just sent me a thing on Facebook a few days ago.
Ah.
I asked him, and I didn't know that he was away on grieving.
Right.
But he got back to me about the song, and I've been going through my head for years. Me and Freddie and Louis Coletti. I'm just trying to.
And Betty, and there was Betty and the spaghetti and.
Betty, I'm Freddie, and I'm Louis Coletti, yeah.
Well, Scott was on the show earlier. If he's still listening, we're going to have to see if he has that song.
We had the guy on he was a friend of ours. His name was Phil Cernicola.
Mm-hmm.
He was a nightclub performer in New York. And he would be half man and half woman. He would do both parts. Part of his face would be, and then he would turn around and he was the woman, and then he was the man, and he would sing the duet by, lip sync his record. He was on our show a few times. He was on when we were on Channel 4.
I know, that's right.
Yeah.
I
used to get a
kick
kick out
New
of
Jersey
that.
Public Radio, Public TV,
Yeah, I haven't seen him in years. Well, listen, Huey, thank you so much for this call. You were great. You get a home run today for your call. Thank you.
All right.
Oh, cool. I'll sign up on your mail list. List right away.
Yeah, get on our Facebook Uncle Floyd Radio Show on our Uncle Floyd Radio.
I'm listening now. Yeah.
Yeah, on Facebook also, Uncle Floyd Radio, and just do a search for it, and you can get on there. So thanks very much, Huey. That was very entertaining, very interesting.
This is what fascinates me to know, and the people out there who know so many things, and And we learned about garbage. We learned about birds, raptors.
And these things are all things that most people take for granted. They don't even, and I don't mean it in a conscious, intentional way, but they're driving on the Garden State roadways, and they don't notice this wildlife around them. I'm on the Garden State Parkway this weekend, and there's a hawk. Beautiful hawk sitting there as I'm driving, and I focus on it because I notice these things. But a lot of people take it for granted. They don't even notice it. So
you know what I think is the most beautiful animal out there, and you see them, and they're very close to New York and northern New Jersey. The fox.
The fox.
Late at night.
Yeah.
They fly when they run. They look at you and they smile. And all those old expressions, cute as a fox, sly as a fox.
Sly as a fox.
You wonder why the people said that. When you see a fox, the face of a fox is
That's right.
just beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
I know they're dangerous. I know I wouldn't want to meet them close up, but I guess, I don't know.
Well, they're actually quite afraid of humans.
They are, huh?
Yeah. Typically, any animal that is larger than itself or higher than itself, which, that's a close draw between you and a fox. It doesn't approach.
Listen, when it rains, I'm the last one to know.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a quick break here on the Uncle Floyd Radio Show. 201-50-FLOYD. That's 1-201-503-5693. If you want to talk to Uncle Floyd about anything, we were talking about New Jersey diners. It's a little bit in front of 2 o'clock. The website is UncleFloydRadio.com. And
isn't it 3 o'clock?
3 o'clock. Did I say in front of 2 o'clock?
Well, it depends on where you are.
That's true. And I'm glad today we're getting a lot of these calls from New Jersey. So
yeah, because recently we were getting people from all over.
All over. And this is great that we've been able to speak to people locally from the great Garden State. Also, a plug to EC at Costco. I believe he's got us streaming live at one of the Costcos. So we want to say what's up to all the Costco employees and patrons. And if he could let me know where he is, that would be great.
You know what I got at Costco? The lobster tails. Oh my God! When the fish comes in on Friday, you go, forget about it.
Yeah,
you can't beat it.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of good. You know what?
Oh, a lot of good food.
Yeah,
I have a friend who just goes for the hot dogs.
Right. I wanted to take this call right now, but we do have to take a break. So, caller, just hold on the line.
Oh, hold on.
And we're going to have you back on in a few minutes to talk live with Uncle Floyd. 201-50-FLOYD. That's 1-201-503-5693 on UncleFloydRadio.com.
The word is spreading. More and more people are switching to Ambit Energy.
Well, one of my neighbors switched, and then I switched. Now the whole neighborhood has Ambit.
Who doesn't want to save money?
The word is spreading. Switching to Ambit Energy is rewarding in more ways than one.
I signed up and got a travel reward. That's nice.
Oh, I get to save on energy and on travel?
There's a cruise for two out there just a few thousand kilowatts away. I can almost smell the sunscreen.
The word is spreading. Ambit Energy even lets you earn free energy.
When I get 15 friends to switch, I get free energy. I have 15 friends. At least I think I do.
Hey, I'd be telling people to switch to Ambit anyway.
If you'd like to switch to Ambit Energy, listen to the following contact information closely. Then spread the word.
If you would like to save on your monthly energy bill, contact Ambit Energy independent consultant Joe D. Simone at www.jdsimone.joinambit.com. That's www.jdsimone.joinambit.com.
NFL Films present Size Does Matter. It is said football is a game of inches. It is what sets men apart on the gridiron, the locker room, and most important, the living room. For it has been said, the size of the screen is proportionate to the size of the fan. What will satisfy your insatiable thirst for helmet-to-helmet action? Not a tiny 22-inch Trinitron, but rather 108 inches of throbbing plasma screen pleasure. And after your team thrusts into the end zone and you collapse on the couch, covered in clumps of onion dip, you too will admit size does matter.
I got $100 for some leftover cream corn. I never knew corn was worth so much. much?
That's right. Corn is at an all-time high, and you can turn your unused corn into money with Cash for Corn.
I'm not grilling corn on the cob this summer. That'd be like burning money.
We'll send you a postage-paid Ziploc bag. Just fill it, send it back to us, and Cash for Corn will pay you promptly.
Sure, I spend a little extra time in the bathroom, but picking out the corn is like writing myself a check.
Don't flush away thousands of dollars. Call Cash for Corn now.
Oh, the factory smoke will make you choke. Deep in the heart of Jersey, the city rats run in big packs. Deep in the heart of Jersey, oh, the pizza man says, I no understand. Deep in the heart of Jersey and Route 17, the traffic there is mean. Deep in the heart of Jersey. Oh, the city skies ain't fit for flies. Deep in the heart of Jersey, the Parkway man takes a quarter from your hand. Deep in the heart of Jersey, oh, the dumps in June ain't like perfume. Deep in the heart of Jersey, but it's my state, I think it's great. Deep in the heart of Jersey.
Where?
Way out west in wild New Jersey. Yippee-yi, yeah.
It's UncleFloydRadio.com. 201-50-FLOYD. That's 201-503-5693.
Wow, you do that nice.
You like that?
Yeah, we do. You really have a good. You should do this.
I should do something I'm already doing at this moment. Yes. It's the Uncle Floyd Radio Show, and I'm Joe, and he is Uncle Floyd. Somewhat of a personality, comedian, and
An entrepreneur.
an entrepreneur. Yes.
Was a great softball player in the show league years ago.
Right.
I had the record of 14 for 14 base hits in a row. Not doubles, singles.
Right.
Jim
And
Jensen couldn't strike me out.
really? Wow.
Well, nobody cares about that, but
No, what I care about before we get to this next call, you actually hold a Guinness Book of World Record title.
Well, I played the piano for 24 hours and 15 minutes straight, but it really wasn't for that. It was to raise money for a little boy with cystic fibrosis.
Right.
Had a tremendous amount of hospital debt. So
Right.
we did that, and we raised I played the piano 24 hours, 15 minutes. That wasn't the hard part. The hardest part was getting somebody to listen that long.
Now let me ask you a question.
Mhm.
And this is why I wanted to mention this, because most people don't know the reason why you did it and what went on when you do this. Tell the listeners about the list of songs.
Well, Guinness made everything proper in order. And I think it came to 788 songs or 800, whatever the
Right.
songs. We had a list. You weren't allowed to repeat a song.
Right.
And a song, you couldn't play "Oh Susanna" for half an hour. It was
And it had to be
structured.
songs. It couldn't just be rambling on.
No, it
incoherent
couldn't just be
playing.
ad-lib jazz or
Yeah.
some foolishness or just
Right.
to make noise. That
Right.
might be them now, the Guinness people. They're taking away the title, but it was all done and the church and the local police department let us use the PAL building, and the whole town was behind it.
Right.
But unfortunately, it was on the weekend of Hurricane Floyd in 1999.
Yeah.
But we still raised $46,000 cash.
Wow.
In $5 and $1 bills. It was
That's
people
great.
turned out, and some people gave 10 or 15, but
Right,
whatever,
right.
it was really nice.
That was great.
Old-fashioned grassroots.
Now, were you allowed to take a break to?
They made me, for medical reason, take a 3-minute break, but I didn't drink any water, or the only thing I ate was a couple of blueberries. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, bathroom-wise, I mean, it's.
No, it's not hard. It's not hard.
I mean, did they give you a catheter or
No,
you
it's
know,
okay.
a
You
diaper?
don't drink
or-
any water.
I mean,
No, you just don't drink any water. You don't
Yeah.
drink anything.
Well, you had to eat. I mean,
No, at 24 hours, people can go that long without food.
you went straight through then. huh?
Yeah, how
That's-
can you eat and play the piano at the same time? But
Well,
that was easy. That was easy. It was.
multitask. I
What
mean,
happened was when I got up at the end, I couldn't stand up because my legs had totally fallen asleep
Right.
from just sitting that long.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and I looked like a fool. I fell down. I just tried to stand up. There was no.
Okay. Wow. See, there's a story behind that.
Oh, there's a much bigger story too, but we'll talk about that someday.
Yeah, we have a call on the line for you.
Hello, you're on UncleFloydRadio.com. Welcome.
Oh,
this is the fellow from New Hampshire. Hello.
Yeah, Rob is his name. Hey, Rob, how you doing?
Hey, how you guys doing today?
Good.
That was great. That was an amazing story.
What are you?
Piano.
Oh yeah, well, you are you from New Hampshire originally?
No, I'm originally from New Jersey, and I go back to watching you on WHD back a few years ago.
That was a while back.
Probably
yeah.
like most. Yeah, and I got my link for your show through a mutual friend of ours, and so I clicked on it just this afternoon while I'm procrastinating, shoveling the driveway.
That's a good excuse.
Well, we used to have a banjo player on our show. His name was Doc Prentice, and he was from Nashua. You know where Nashua is?
Yeah, I'm over towards the seacoast. That's more on the middle part of the state.
Well, he was
That's
from
about half an hour away.
He was from Nashua, New Hampshire, and but then he moved. His family, well, they were from Greece originally. Then they settled in Nashua, and then they came to California, New Jersey, and then eventually, the Patterson-Clifton area. And he was on my show for years. What do you do, Rob? What do you do in New Hampshire?
I'm an accountant type.
Wow.
Do some bookkeeping, kind of part-time stuff. Getting ready for taxes.
Oh yeah, you're gearing up for the busy season.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have a son who's in that line of work. He works for a company, and I don't know. I'm not a man of education or anything, but I says, listen, when he got his first big job, I says, you got to watch out for bribes and things like that. And he says, Dad, what are you talking about? That's not done. I says, no, I'm giving you some advice. That's not it's such an easy job as people think. You ever run into problems like that or hear about anything like that?
No, I keep it pretty much on the level. Family man,
Good for you. It's not an easy business.
No, it's a repetitive bit. Just you're just crunching numbers and crunching numbers. It's a lucrative business. Do you primarily do business accounts or personal tax returns? What's what's your bread and butter?
I work for personal taxes. So.
Okay. Keep it steady.
Now, I was just curious. Is there any? Do you guys have any outlets for any old Uncle Floyd music?
We're working on that. Joe played a couple of things. One thing I haven't even heard, but since people want to hear it, we'll start digging around in the warehouse. I pay $300 a month in a warehouse fee to keep all this old stuff, and there's just crates and boxes of everything. And
yeah,
if people are interested, we'll dig some stuff out and try to preserve it or present it.
Yeah. Do you have one in mind, Rob? I may have it here with me.
No, I just was trying to find something, to browse, looking through your stuff online, your website, see if you had anything on there.
Well, one of the problems with that is, the bootlegging and keeping the music, preserving the music, and it really helps us here because a lot of listeners send us the feedback. Wow, I heard this song that you played. I haven't heard it since the 70s or 80s, and, it's just wonderful to hear that.
But we have planned. This was Joe's idea. Joe Lemire said, let's start this thing. I wasn't for it in the beginning. I said, you're crazy, Joe. Who's going to listen? What's the purpose of it? And he convinced me that there's a future in it. And then eventually we're going to get some kind of a keyboard and piano, and we'll have fun and do songs live for you.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. I would there's nothing like live music, I regret that I never got to see you up at Wild West City when you used to play up there.
Oh, I was there for years in the saloon.
Yeah.
There's a good video online of him at Wild West City.
Oh, yeah? Oh, to check you out.
Yeah, in his stint when he ran for governor of New Jersey. That
Only in New Jersey do they have Wild West City, for anybody listening who doesn't know, is a replica of Dodge City circa 1877, 1878.
Right.
And one day I was there with the owner, Mr. Mike Stabile Sr., And one of the customers was complaining. He says, "Gee, I was here a couple of years ago, and it's the same thing. Everything's the same." And the owner says, "Look, this is supposed to be a cowboy city.
Yeah.
What do you want me to rip these buildings down and put a skyscraper over here?" He says, "This really."
Yeah, that's supposed to maintain the historical aspect of Dodge City. So, but yeah, no, that's a wonderful place. And are they still in operation?
Yes, it's still the same family, the Stabile family. Mike Jr., the son,
right,
runs everything now, and his sons, and it still goes on. It's a legendary New Jersey, one of the last mom and pop family owned amusement parks.
Yeah, that's great that they're still in operation. That's
wait a minute, Rob. Up in New Hampshire, there was Orchard Beach or something, right?
Yeah. Oh no, that's in Maine, Old Orchard Beach.
Oh, that's in Maine, Old Orchard Beach. Oh, I got mixed up.
Yeah.
I remember that.
We have Hampton Beach here. You should come up and play the Hampton Casino Ballroom.
Well, I haven't gotten there. I get up to the casinos in Rhode Island. There's one in Pawtucket I work, and then of course the Lincoln in Lincoln. Right near Providence, Rhode Island, there's a big casino there. I can't think.
Well, this is called a Casino Ballroom, yeah.
It's not a gambling resort.
No, well, there are some in the area, but not that per se. It's just called that. It's like an old ballroom,
right.
It was lots of Jimi Hendrix and the Doors and all them played back then.
Hey Rob, did I just catch in the background someone trying to do oogie?
No, it was an animal sound.
Kids coming home from school off the bus. So.
Wait, it's the kids. It sounded like oogie.
Listen, I have a quick question. An accountant, I heard an accountant talking and say they're going to allow you to deduct 50 cents on the mileage now. 50 cents a mile. Does that sound right, Rob? In other words,
I don't know. I don't know if that's gone through yet. But.
In other words, people like me, if I have to travel 100 miles to make $100, the legal tax deduction was for going to work. I thought it was 38 cents a mile, but I heard they were going to increase it to 50 cents a mile, which means, you have a chance to make a little bit more.
Well,
I shouldn't put him on the spot. Yeah. This is a professional accountant. But
right, but still.
This is what the average people like me talk about in bars.
Yeah.
These guys go home. They don't talk about that stuff at all. I mean, that's
true.
They go to bars. They talk about sports or something. I don't see accountants standing around at their local watering hole saying, "Oh yeah, can you believe what was passed today by Congress? We can now add these deductions." That's
a nice way to look at it. Well, anyway, Rob, thank you so much for this call. Will you call us again sometime?
Yeah, I'd love it. I'm glad are you going to be on? What days are you going to be on? Just Wednesdays?
No, well, this show was added. We are on.
Well, you have to go to the UncleFloydRadio.com, and there's a screen that tells you when we're going to have live shows, and the others are. I still call it looped. In other words, they keep rerunning, or they run them in a loop fashion.
Right. We rebroadcast these after we're done with the live show. About an hour later, these shows will be looped on the server, so you'll be able to hear yourself in this portion of the program. So you'll be able to listen.
Great.
Yeah.
Remember, you follow Huey from Mattawan, the bird expert, our bird expert. So then you're on after him.
I'm going to tell every time I see a cardinal up in New Hampshire, I'm going to tell that story.
Yeah. All right, Rob. Thanks very much.
All right. Hey, it was a pleasure.
Yes.
Good luck to you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for calling the Uncle Floyd Radio Show. So, yeah, they're all walks of life. I mean, we primarily hit it hard with New Jersey today, and, now New Hampshire again.
But see, in show business, people in my business, we talk about this, the deduction for the mileage. You've heard about it. See?
Yeah.
Most people don't have to worry about that or do that because they have a paycheck where they work, and they don't deduct mileage. But
it's not an expense.
It's an expense for us.
Gas, mileage, the maintenance of the vehicles and whatnot. So,
somebody once at a college, university, Fairleigh Dickinson University in northern New Jersey, they had a TV and radio class or whatever, which I never understood why they would have such a thing in a university. But the professor asked me to speak to the students.
Right.
You know what I did, Joe?
What?
I said, "You want to learn about this business? all you have to do is get Variety every week, which is the showbiz newspaper.
Right.
And read the obituary column.
Yeah.
Read the obituary pages. And that's it. I said, that's my lecture. That's it. It's over. The professor grabbed a hold of me and says, what in the world? This was the worst way to address this. Let me tell you something, Professor. You learn more from the obituaries. In other words, it would say John Doe passed away. He was a radio TV man.
That's right.
He worked Wichita, Kansas for 2 years. After that, he went to Toledo, Ohio for a year.
Right.
Then he was in Hartford, Connecticut for a year. Then he was in Baltimore for 2 years. Then Greensboro, North Carolina for half a year. I mean, this is what we are.
That's
traveling
right.
people.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
that's it.
Ready to go to the phones again?
Oh, I'm ready. I didn't know there was somebody ready.
Yeah, you have a call right there.
Good. Hello, you're on New Jersey. I'm your mom.
Well, we're in New Jersey.
Uncle Floyd Radio.com.
Hey, Floyd, it's Bruce from Vernon.
The Bruce from... I can give the last name, right? It's just Bruce Campbell?
Yes, it is.
Oh, my God. I want my baseball cards back.
How you doing, Floyd?
You still have my Mickey Mantle I sold you for 80 cents that you said would never be worth anything?
I wish. We both retire if we had that.
Bruce,
you know I'm joking with this. Is a good friend of mine.
I know.
Is the story about the baseball card true?
I was cleaning stuff out in the attic not too long ago, and I wanted to get a hold of you anyway before I even saw your post. I found pictures I took back in the studio, plus, I don't know, 5 or 6 of the newsletters we used to do for you.
This man, Bruce, you can't find printers like you anymore. He ran a printing press company, and he made the Uncle Floyd Show Gazette newspaper. He made countless posters for us, all kinds of things. Right, Bruce?
That's right.
While you waited. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
He did a lot of things.
Like 30-some years we've known each other.
Do you still collect...
Long time.
Do you still collect Emmett Kelly clowns?
Yes, I do. My collection... I mainly had the older stuff. I have about 60 pieces, all signed by Emmett Jr.
Really?
Emmett Kelly Jr. I worked with Emmett Kelly Jr. But you have the statues, and you have... didn't I sell you, or I think, because I used to sell you stuff, you were really into it, and I was I sold you an Emmett Kelly, or maybe I gave it to you, Emmett Kelly LP with Emmett Kelly's picture. The record, yeah.
Yep, the original Emmett Kelly. I still have it.
Wow.
Yep, I still have all my Emmett Kelly stuff, and I still dabble in sports memorabilia, and I just finished putting a contract together. We're going to go do I'm doing sports cruises. We're going back on the American Queen on the Mississippi River.
Wow.
With baseball celebrities.
Wow, that's great.
Do you know Big Andy?
Yes. I saw Andy over the summer, actually. I see him at flea markets and stuff. I still do flea markets, too.
Big Andy, I have something that Big Andy wants, and I don't know if it's worth anything.
Okay.
It's a Yogi Berra poster from when the Yogi Berra Museum opened up. But it's a cartoon of Yogi Berra.
Okay. I've never seen it, but, I can check on it and let you know what it is worth, that's for sure. I'll do a little homework for you.
Fascinating what things are worth, right?
Sports is coming back.
Let me ask you a sports collector.
Well, hang on a second. That's good that sports are coming back in value, because definitely someone with 250,000 records,
Well, wait a minute. Why is it so hard to find wrestling cards? In other words, you find hockey, football, baseball, basketball, even boxing cards.
Right.
How come it's so hard to find wrestling cards?
I think what happened is wrestling just got so commercialized and things changed, and in all honesty, the card industry for all sports died.
Yeah.
All the current day stuff, I don't deal in that anymore, but I do talk to people who have stores, and they say that the new stuff, years ago you used to go buy a box of tops for, $8, $10, $12, $14. Now some boxes are $149 for a box of cards.
Right.
And they just price themselves out of the range of people affording them.
Yeah. Well, too, the card shops. Sports memorabilia businesses, the small, we used to have, I remember stores all over New Jersey that when I'd be passing by as a young child with my father, we would stop in and I would buy the cards. You know, the baseball. I have wrestling cards from the 70s and 80s of the wrestlers. You know, it's
right.
And nowadays, you go into any grocery store or these strip malls, there's vending machines with the card packs in them. You know, it's killed the real business of, you know, the trading card industry. I mean, I have boxes of cards from years ago.
Well, Bruce, you go beyond the cards. Of course, you have magazines. Are they collectible too? The magazines, like, you know.
Not so much magazines unless it's got the right people on them or in them. But yearbooks, programs, things of that nature, still hold their value. Especially, I mean, old pennants. You know, in all honesty, old toys. It's amazing what some stuff is worth when you don't realize it.
Autographed baseballs, they're worth a lot of money, right?
Yeah,
some
depending
of them.
on who it is. You know, for our area, the Yankees.
Right.
Mickey actually is probably the top on the autograph scale right now. I got a Joe and everybody. I mean, other than Ruth and, you know, go back to the real old. But as far as current day that, you know, the average person can remember, Mickey is probably holding the dollars at this point, the most out of everybody.
Still, after all these years, right? Mickey Mantle's still magic. He's still golden.
It's still magic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still the money. But now everything is, because there is so much, like you were saying before, with bootlegging, there's so much counterfeit stuff out there in sports stuff that,
right.
you know, now everything is getting verified and through PSA or JSA or DNA this and. But it has to be, because when you're talking about, you know, spending $1,000 for something, you want to make sure you're buying something real. You don't want junk.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I mean, I just picked up a quick little thing. I did a sale the other day. I picked up a cartoon, Al Cap cartoon of Little Abner and Daisy May of a limited edition piece signed by Cap. So you never know what you're going to find anywhere.
Right.
You've got to always be on the lookout for different things.
Yeah, when something falls into your lap, you know, that's when you least expect it.
Yep. And then, like I say, I digging around, and there's my Uncle Floyd stuff that I found. And I actually, the black and white photo, I still have that one from back in the day of you and Oogie together.
What am I worth? What am I worth?
I was
you
going to
were
ask
thinking
you
of that time.
You're priceless, Floyd. You're one of a kind. Come on.
I mean, is he at least worth?
Nobody can ever replace you. That's for sure.
Is his you know, his print memorabilia worth at least lining a birdcage with, or?
It's somewhere. You know what happened? A friend of mine said he was selling Uncle Floyd things to somebody in Utah through eBay or whatever.
Right.
So I said, and he said the guy's buying everything. He's buying everything Uncle Floyd. I said, wow, he must really have been a big fan of the Uncle Floyd show.
Right.
Then we found out he wasn't. He was just a Floyd collector. He collected anything with the name Floyd on it. Like Floyd's garage service, an ashtray with that. What about old ashtrays? Are they collectible?
Yeah, believe it or not. I mean, matchbooks, ashtrays. I mean, since I've seen you actually for a couple of years, I helped manage an auction company, and you know, learned so much just from that. As they say, one person's junk is another person's treasure, and that is the truth.
Yeah, that is true.
Well,
you know, nothing is worth nothing. I found anymore.
And there's there's always new collectors coming up through the ranks, right? That's what keeps it going.
Yeah,
exactly.
Sure.
And you never know what.
That's incredible. That's just incredible.
You know what? I have some rare stuff from, autographed books. I want it from baseball players, and somebody said, "Hold on to those. They're always good. A good item to have."
Yep. Yeah. Anything like that is, you know, especially if it's any first edition stuff or whatever. It's always good having anything autographed by anybody. I mean, whether it's sports or, you know, by the original writer or an artist on something, you know, if it's autographed by the person, that's always gives value to whatever the piece is. And, you know, collectibles, it's like people, they put something on a shelf, they throw the box away. Well, you just threw half the money away for that piece.
Right.
You know, you got to save the original packaging to put it back in, and that's what gets you your money too. So it's just little things. You know, dust cover on a book. Half of the money's in the dust cover. If you don't have it,
Right.
the book's worth half as much.
What about old erector sets?
If they're complete with everything, decent money.
Right.
Old toys are insane.
Right.
Old tin toys, wind-up toys, battery operated, or just old Barbies, G.I. Joes. I mean, you're talking hundreds of dollars,
Yeah.
thousands of dollars.
Yeah, I have a set here that we found in a house that I purchased a few years back, and I have no idea if it's complete. It's just in a plain white box, but it seems to be extremely old. And you know, right. I'm no professional in this and never had it looked at, but you know, I would just like to know, you know, just for out of curiosity's sake, you know, if it's one of the original erector sets, because the house we bought was very, very, very old. So
yeah, the thing is if it has the paperwork in it, because they all came with some kind of instruction book on how to do and make different things. So
right.
That's the first point. If it's got that in it, that's half the battle.
Yeah.
I know you're going to laugh, but you know what I've been offered a lot of money for? I have a 1964 Passaic County phone book. I know people can say, well, who the heck would want that? When you open up the yellow pages, the artwork was phenomenal. Mm-hmm. There's people now, the children or grandchildren of mom and pop stores that they want the artwork of those ads. Some of those ads were quarter-page ads and half-page ads, and they were all hand-drawn, and the artwork is phenomenal. It stopped with computer-generated art, but there's people who've offered me. I've been offered $350 for the book. One guy said he'd give me $375, and I don't want to get rid of it. It's very nostalgic to me. But did you ever hear of anybody who collects phone books?
Not phone books, no. Yearbooks and things like that I've heard, but phone books that's a new one. I mean, but it's old advertising. That's what people like. The old, just a yardstick or rulers, and people collect pens and pencils that were matchbooks. I mean, anything advertising.
I saw a fellow with I'm not making this up. He had a coat hanger collection, and he had coat hangers. No, I know it sounds weird. The guy collected coat hangers. They were made out of wood. The wooden coat hangers. They don't make them out of wood anymore. Yeah. And on the sides of the wood, it would say Hotel Edison, New York City, or Mom's Kitchen Restaurant somewhere. Most of them were hotels.
I think I saw that guy on an episode of Hoarders.
Hey, Bruce, did you ever run into a hoarder as a collector? Go into a real hoarder's house?
I'm not sure. I wouldn't say a hoarder like we've seen on TV and stuff, but I've gone into some homes where we had the auction company where, I mean, we brought in a 40-yard dumpster to get rid of the stuff that wasn't sellable. So I guess you could consider that type of person a hoarder.
Right.
When you're taking out that much stuff out of the house that isn't sellable.
Well, collecting becomes an addiction to so many people. I know guys that actually, and I know we have to take a. Well, listen, Bruce, thanks so much for calling. We have to move on with something else, but thank you so much.
That was great,
Bruce, the collector.
Great to hear you back on the show, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, Bruce.
All right, Bruce, have a good day. Thanks for calling Uncle Floyd Radio. That's wow. You know a lot of people.
Well, I'm in my 40s now, and the older you get, the more people you know.
And I'm a millionaire.
He's a good guy. Bruce Campbell up in Sussex County, New Jersey.
Right.
He knows everything about sports. So we have a sports expert. We have a bird expert, a man who worked for the Public Works or whatever, the sanitation
department.
And Donna, the animal queen.
Yeah.
We have just so many interesting people.
Yeah.
Mrs. Walker.
I was going to say the toe fungus woman. Mushrooms growing between her toes.
Don't say that. I mean, somebody may be listening.
Oh, wow. Somebody?
Mrs. Walker.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break. It's the Uncle Floyd Radio Show, 201-503-5693. That's 1-201-50-FLOYD. That's the telephone number. If you want to talk to Floyd, you can give him a call in the next couple of minutes right here on UncleFloydRadio.com.
In today's busy world, many of us tend to forget how important it is to maintain a healthy lifestyle. But there's one thing that we will never forget how to do, and that is how to ride a bicycle. So if you're looking to shed a few extra pounds while exercising in a fun and safe way, check out the Central Jersey Bicycle Club of New Jersey. Originally founded in 1968, the Central Jersey Bicycle Club is one of the oldest and largest, most active bicycle clubs in the entire country. The Central Jersey Bicycle Club sponsors several rides throughout the year, such as the Farmlands Flat Tour, the Hillier Than Thou Ride, and the Longest Day Ride, a 200-mile bicycle ride from High Point to Cape May, New Jersey, while the club sponsors 10-mile jaunts taken at a leisurely pace to rides that span multiple New Jersey counties. The Central Jersey Bicycle Club has rides for bicyclists of all abilities. How do you become a member of the Central Jersey Bicycle Club? It's simple. Just visit www.cjbc.org. That's www.cjbc.org. Visit their website today and start that ride to a healthier lifestyle.
Got road rage again. Some mother cut me off again. Take your phone and shove it up your my friend. Son of a I've got road rage again. Got road rage again. Some stupid driving a minivan. Baby on board, but I just don't give a damn. I'll flip her off, I got road rage again. Got road rage again. There's a million holes on the highway. Go yourself, my friends, and get your fat out of my way, or you'll pay. Got road rage again. I can't be late for work again. I think I'm madder than I've ever been. Up and die, I got road rage again.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so excited about our first record album.
Boy, oh boy, I can't wait till I get to do something on the album.
Oh, well, Oogie, this is an important album now. We don't want just old jokes and old songs from you.
No, I have something brand new. Why, this is going to be the latest craze.
All right, let's give it a shot.
Oh, first you snap your fingers. Yeah, then you smack your lips. Oh, then you flap your arms. Then you twist your wrists. Oh, now you got it, baby. It goes like this. Yeah! Yeah! Skip-a-ba-dee-dee-dee-ba-da-da-da. Oh, dee-da-da-da-dee-da. Dee-da-da. Ba-dee-skip-a-dee-ba-ba. Ba-doo-dee-dee-ba-locus. Ha-cha-cha. Oh, first you snap your fingers. Yeah, then you smack your lips. Then you flap your arms. Then you twist your wrists. Ooh, now you got it, baby. It goes like this. Hachi-bachi. Play it, mama. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Ra-ta-ra-ta-ta. Oh, skilly-bally-billy-bally-bally-bally. Woo! Woo! Hacha! Yeah, man. This is jazz, boy. First you snap your fingers. Oh, then you smack your lips. Then you flap your arms. Then you twist your wrist. Now you got it, baby. It goes like this. Play it, man.
Yachi-bachi, you're listening to UncleFloydRadio.com. I'm Uncle Floyd. I don't know where Joe Lemire dug that up, but that's 1979 that record was made. Because it was 45. It was definitely 45.
Yeah.
And that's my brothers, my brother Jerry and Jimmy. in music, and Mike Moriali might have been on that.
Right.
I don't know if La Bamba. No, I don't think La Bamba was there at that point. Frankie Pagano on drums.
Right.
All good men.
Yeah.
I don't know what you did. You're bringing back memories to me.
Yeah. Well, people want to hear Oogie. Oogie's not here in the studio with us.
No,
so.
he's going to come back someday, but he's busy man.
Yeah, counting those mothballs.
His voice is not as high-pitched as it was.
Yeah.
Like Groucho Marx. If you ever watched the movies in the 30s, my name is Captain Spaulding. Da-da-da-da-da.
Right.
Then when you got towards the end of his career,
That's
it was very deep.
Puberty does that too.
It does. Poverty does it.
Poverty does it. Before when we were talking with Bruce about the memorabilia,
yeah,
mentioning like Yankees, the cards and whatnot. I was watching one of the programs that I like watching. I have the DVD set of Amos and Andy. I was watching an episode, and they were at a Yankee game, and the Kingfish and Calhoun are back at the lodge, and Calhoun wants his money for the ticket, and he goes, Kingfish, how about my money for my 35 cents for the ticket?
Wow.
35 cents to get into a Yankee game in the 50s?
Well, the Amos and Andy TV show you're talking about?
The TV
was
show.
made 1950, 51.
51, yes.
Yeah.
35 cents?
Yeah.
Now you pay astronomical figures. I mean,
But even so, that would be equivalent today to about $5. $5, so it was still affordable.
Yeah, my God, that's incredible.
Now they have $1,000 seats behind home plate, and the people stay for 2 innings and leave.
Yeah.
Because they're not fans. They're just business people who got tickets. And
right. They're comping people on tickets.
Yeah, I don't like that.
That's incredible.
Who am I to tell them what to do? They're billionaires now.
Right. Right. Really. Well, we're working on getting Jeter on the show, so
I love
maybe
Derek
he can explain
Jeter.
it.
Derek Jeter,
great man.
If I just everything about him, I think he is possibly the last Yankee. He's with class, real Yankee class.
Yes.
Derek Jeter.
Yeah.
And he was born in New Jersey, of all
Yes.
places. Raised out Midwest, but
right.
he was born in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Pequannock.
Was it Pequannock?
Yeah. The Pompton Plains or Pequannock. I think in the baseball books it says Pompton Plains.
Well, wouldn't you call it Pequannock?
Pequannock.
It's not
Pequannock.
Halladin?
Those are jokes, Halladin, Tatoa.
The newscasters constantly getting them wrong. All right, let's go to the phones.
For all your appointments, just where you never have a problem.
Okay.
Hey. Hello, you're on UncleFloydRadio.com.
All right.
How you having an argument?
All right, you're on Uncle.
Come on, get on the freaking phone before it's
These are guys from Patterson. I can tell. I can tell they're from my area.
Yeah, you're on Uncle Floyd Radio. Hello.
Hello, you're on Uncle Floyd Radio. Hello. Yeah, I'm Uncle Floyd. They're talking to each other.
Hello, can you hear us?
Thank you, Adam.
You know what?
The guys have a store or something.
He must have the phone down or something. He must have the phone down.
Oh, brother?
Hello.
This is Uncle Floyd from New Jersey. Yeah, he's from New Jersey.
Yeah. This is interesting.
We don't know what we're going to hear, though.
I know.
Oh, really? They were in the band.
He's saying I was on a Conan. I'm not on a Conan.
Was you ever on a Conan show? No.
No, pick up the phone. I'm not on a...
Did they ever get him on a...
No, they never got me on. They're my brothers. What do they want me on that show for? Hello?
Hello, you there?
This is weird. We're actually hearing them talk about me.
Yeah.
But they won't talk to me.
Right.
Did they hang up? Or they?
No, they're still there, but they're not talking.
Well, I don't know. Look, this was your idea, this whole thing.
Hey, you're live with Uncle Floyd. Can you hear us?
No, they're not going to.
I feel like a Verizon commercial. Can you hear me? Can you hear us now? Can't hear us?
What did they do? They put the...
I don't know. They must have put the phone down and while they were holding, they said,
but it was a call from Patterson, New Jersey.
I believe so. Yes.
And I heard him say he should be, was he on the Conan O'Brien show?
Right.
No,
right.
my brothers are on that.
Yeah, no, I heard him say that, the brothers. He was talking to somebody else, but, oh, well, that made for an interesting phone call. Never had one of those before.
No, I never heard anything like that on any other radio show. But should I say why I almost made a big mistake before?
No.
No. Okay. All right.
No.
You guide me through these things.
Yes. Yes.
So you know about things and pop-up screens.
Yeah, you know nothing about the technology.
And you do cheat, though, sometimes. I see what all you people do. You look it up on the machine, and then it tells you the information.
Well, I want you. That's why I'm bringing it up for you to see it.
I have it in my head.
You have it in your head. You got something. You have nothing in your head. All right, let's go back to the phones here. And he hung up. Okay, we had him on, and he hung up again. Okay,
maybe Mrs. Walker will call back.
Okay, well, we got someone from New York calling in right now. If we can get this.
Well, we say then. Hello, there you go. I'm sorry you people are listening. Joe Lemire just spilled a beverage all over the equipment. And
Hello?
Oh, hello.
Hello.
You're on UncleFloydRadio.com. Welcome. Hello.
Should I listen to the phone or should I listen to the computer? That's my question right now.
See, you have to answer that,
You
Joe.
have to listen to the phone because we are on a delay.
Okay, do you understand that? You listen to the phone.
Well, because it's not coming through on the phone.
Oh, you can't hear.
You can't hear us?
You can't hear on the phone?
No.
No.
Well,
That could be why the other guy was acting so strange.
Maybe you're right. I don't know. This. Maybe Joe Lemire pulled a hole. What is this thing here with a hole in it?
That's okay. Can you hear us now?
Can you hear us?
Oh, you're hearing the feed. You know what? Do us a favor. Give us a call back, and maybe we can resolve that issue. I don't know what that was. I mean, my beverage didn't hit it.
No, the beverage did not hit that. But in other words, people they can't hear us talking, but they're I don't understand. They are responding somehow.
Right.
Some of them, but it's a technical glitch which we have to work out. Not me. It's not my fault.
No,
I get blamed for a lot of things.
Yeah, no, it's not your fault. But
we lost the guys from Patterson. And it sounded like they were at Chappie's Diner. Speaking of diners, Chappie. It was a diner on Railroad Avenue.
Right. All right. Let's. Well, you know what? We just got again another hang up. I think we're having a problem with the.
Every Railroad Avenue is near a railroad. Did you ever notice that?
Typically, yes.
And every river street is near a river.
Right.
These are observations I've made over the years.
Right.
Center Street is usually in the middle of a town or a city.
Right. That's a weird noise.
I was just going to say, I don't remember eating that.
All right, it's UncleFloydRadio.com, 201-503-5693. That is the telephone number. And, yeah, sometimes this happens. We have problems with the phone system. So let's see if this caller can hear us now. Welcome to the Uncle Floyd Radio Show. Can you hear us?
Hello, you're on UncleFloydRadio.com.
It's me again.
All right. Can you hear us over the phone?
No.
No.
There's a delay. Can you hear us over the internet?
This is so disappointing, I have to say. You know, I want to talk to Uncle Floyd, and I can't hear him except through delay. It's like my whole life is a delay. And
Well, my friend, I'm here. Hold on. You're not.
Yeah, hang on. I'm gonna put you on hold. I have your number here. Actually, I'm gonna give you a call back here. We're gonna see if we can resolve this issue by rebooting a system. Sometimes these things happen.
A thorough investigation on this. This man is very distraught right now. He wanted to talk to me. He waited. Who knows how long he waited?
These things happen sometimes. It's technology.
Well, why don't we go back to dial phones?
Well, it is dial phones. It's
No, the circular thing with the.
Oh, rotary phones. My God, you're dating yourself.
Well, they worked at least.
You are dating yourself.
You think Alexander Graham Bell had these problems?
Alexander Graham Bell. Do you know what we used to have to go through to make a phone call from New Jersey to California years ago?
It was a very expensive proposition.
Yes. Do you know how many miles and switches and dedicated lines were utilized? That's why calling across the country was extremely expensive.
And did you ever hear of Antonio Meucci?
Yes.
Oh, so you know your telephone business.
It's not telephone.
What do you mean? Antonio Meucci is credited by many people before Alexander Graham Bell He had created the apparatus and the paperwork for a telephone.
I thought that was for the
No, Antonio Meucci gets a lot of credit for inventing the telephone.
the telegraph.
No, the telegraph. No, telephone. Telegraph was another whole.
No, I know that. But I thought that's what he originally.
It's a very controversial subject, and I'm going to personally contact Steven Spielberg and tell him to make a movie about it.
Yeah, that's what he wants to invest billions into. Hey, I have a question for you. This is
Go ahead.
This is something we're going to implement on the show, where we're going to test Floyd's knowledge. Okay.
On what subject?
Well, this is an interesting one. It's very simple. This is what we call the real fact. All right. See if you can answer this question. Which East Coast town installed the first ATM for rollerbladers?
East Coast? San Francisco? That's a joke. Of course it's not on East Coast. I would say Atlantic City.
No.
No. Am I close?
No.
I'm too far north or south?
You're very far south. Very far north.
Okay, so Savannah, Georgia?
Closer.
Am I closer?
Closer.
Jacksonville, Florida. Am I getting closer?
You were
I'm zooming in.
very
So now I know it's
close.
between northern Florida.
Very close.
Well, then it's got to be.
I'll give you this much.
St. Augustine?
Right
No.
state. You were
what?
the last.
Georgia?
No, Florida.
Florida.
Yes.
Well, it's got to be
But you have to
Jacksonville.
think about the question, rollerblading. For rollerbladers, it was the, just as you mentioned it, the West Coast, California, when rollerblading became popular.
Well, that was a joke, Joe. You said the East Coast, so that's why I said
Right.
San
I understand that.
Francisco,
But when rollerblading became rollerblading became extremely popular, this
Yeah,
was the
10 minutes.
This was the
My
town.
career was longer than rollerblading. 1950, March 5th.
Miami, okay?
To
Miami.
June 3rd.
Geez, you couldn't figure that one out. Okay, let's try one more.
Well, Miami is not considered an East Coast city.
Yes, it is.
Well, it depends. But I used to watch rollerblading, but it was the same thing over and over. People rolling around, bumping each other, knocking them down.
No,
And
that's roller derby.
Yeah. Oh, come on. I thought that's what you're talking about.
Okay, let's try this one.
Oh, you're reading at the bottom of a soda cap now?
Oh,
Oh, Joe, this is really low.
We got to do something.
What
to
were you
fill the
drinking
time.
before? Iced tea?
Yeah, from Long Island. Okay. What was the White House originally called before it was named the White House in 1901?
Well, wait a minute. You mean when it was in Philadelphia or in Washington, D.C.?
Washington, D.C.
What was it called before? International House of Pancakes?
You're a nut. Come on.
I thought it was
think about
always the
this.
White House. I never knew there was another name.
No.
There was another name for the White
It
House?
was another name before 1901.
Who would know this? The Capitol Home? Washington Arms?
You're getting a little warmer as far as like the name along
So it
that
must be
path.
something to do with Jefferson or Washington
Well,
or Adams.
it
or
has to do-
even Benjamin Franklin, although he was never
Well,
president. The President's Palace.
Bingo.
I got it?
You got it. President's Palace. Okay.
I totally forgot. I learned that in second grade.
That's
but I
off
don't
a
remember
Snapple
that.
cap, man. Come on.
Oh, how can you even see these letters? I have glasses on. I can't read this.
I'll have to get a couple Coke bottles for you to look through to read the letters
No,
on
my
there.
eyes are great for far away. I could see the moon with no problem.
Yeah, well,
the
you know,
sun is 93 million miles away. I see that with no problem.
When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie.
That's amore.
That's right.
Dean Martin. I think Harry Warren wrote that song.
Yes.
His name, Guadagno was his real name. He was Italian from Brooklyn. And Dean Martin sang it in the movie The Caddy
Right.
with Jerry Lewis, who was from what town in New Jersey? Let me test you now. What town was Jerry Lewis from?
Jerry Lewis was from South Orange?
No, you're in the neighborhood. We're not too far.
Kearney?
Nope. No,
I don't. I can't recall.
Irvington.
That's right, Irvington.
And where was Frank Sinatra's Nancy from? Same town as Arthur Godfrey. Hasbrook Heights.
I was going to say Clifton.
What about the Ritz brothers? You know about the Marx brothers. Remember the Ritz brothers? They were similar. They were very popular. They were from Newark as well.
Newark, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jimmy Durante wife was from what town in New Jersey?
Jimmy Durante's town? I don't know.
Jimmy Durante's wife was from Scotch Plains.
Scotch Plains.
Margie. I know totally useless information.
Yeah, but you couldn't figure out what the White House was called.
The President's Palace. I forgot that. I don't think they even teach that in school. They're taking away script writing now. No more script writing. I have this beautiful penmanship, which it's totally useless now. Nobody has it. Nobody uses it. Well, this is nice that we have a little technical problem. We have a chance to talk. Joe and I go way back. We started a week ago.
Actually, the phone issue has been resolved. So
what does that mean? It's working?
It's working.
All right. So we apologize to the. No, we're not apologizing. It's too bad. You just. They called on the wrong day.
Yeah, no. Sometimes these things happen. The biggest shows have these problems with the phone sometimes, unfortunately. But when you have the ability to resolve these issues, you can do so. The phone number, 201-50-FLOYD. I'd like to get the caller back on the line from New York. And
I feel bad for this guy. This was his moment.
And here he is. You're live on with Uncle Floyd. Can you hear us now?
The moment. I'm getting the moment. This feels so wonderful.
Oh, well, welcome to the show.
Welcome to UncleFloydRadio.com. We're sorry for the technical delay. Joe figured it out, though. You're here.
It was the hip cyst and the watt cyst that had to be fixed, correct?
That's right. What is your name? What is your name?
Yeah, William. And you would remember me from, I don't know what year this was, but you came onto my public access show maybe 1981. Or it was black and white show in a studio in Midtown Manhattan. You brought the whole gang.
Well, you got to help me out now. It was a public access
show.
You were on
you were the same day you were on BAI, and then you came from the BAI studios and you came onto my show. It was like 8:30 in the evening. I don't know what year. I don't remember this far back.
I'm going to tell you this. We came from the Lynn Samuels show. Did you know WBAI?
It was Lynn Samuels you were on. Incredible. I didn't know that.
She was a dear friend of mine. She just passed away about 1.5 years or 2 years ago. She was a dear friend.
Well,
but anyway, so we did your show. What was your show like? What kind of show was it? It
was a live call-in, much like this, with probably more technical problems. So I'm used to this, even though it was 30 years. I'm not angry. I work in the studio all the time, and this always happens.
Yes.
But yeah, it was a live call-in show, half an hour. It was black and white cameras. Is the studio run by Jim Claddick
on 23rd Street?
Mm-hmm. The
Jim
man
Claddick,
behind Channel 68.
He went back with Victor Longton and all those guys and Joe Mahady from the original Channel 68. Now I remember. Yes, I remember, of course. So whatever happened? What do you do? That was 30 years ago. What do you do now?
I've actually I make less money now. No, I'm in the TV business. I was a writer. I did some wrote for some cartoon shows on the Cartoon Network. Courage the Cowardly Dog, if anyone out there or you.
Yes, I know it well because I like when the Courage the Cowardly Dog goes to that. There's an old man and a lady. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Who are they? Are they his parents?
Well, I guess you could call them that. Eustace and Muriel.
I love that. The old man I go crazy for. And what's with his tooth? There's like a hole in his tooth or something.
The guy who created the show has a thing about holes in teeth. I'm not quite sure. We've never really deduced what exactly that's about. He won't tell us. But he likes holes in teeth. I don't like holes in teeth.
Yeah, that's.
Are you an illustrator or a cartoon? You draw the cartoons or?
I used to say, well, not really. I'm not that good, but I used to send a lot of cartoons that you would put up on the walls, the pictures on the walls, and all that sort of stuff in the years before, way before. I was a writer on the show, and I would do the animatics and the storyboards.
Wow.
That's what I would do in that particular program.
Wow.
It's still on, right? I mean, it's that cartoon is still.
Repeat.
Oh, the repeats.
Well, it's
yeah.
repeat.
Yeah.
We haven't done it. We stopped doing it about 10 years ago. It was 4 years of making a lot of shows. That's a lot of work. You got to think about it.
You're telling me? I always heard from Walter Lantz, whose real name was Lancia, by the way. Walter Lantz created Woody Woodpecker.
Right.
And I always read and heard that it took 5 years for a cartoon to break even. Does that make sense? I mean, I'm going back in the 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s.
Oh no, it's probably still true because I'm sure the Cartoon Network has only made their money back like 5 years after we stopped making them.
Right.
I'm sure.
But
it's a lot of work. The amount of time. I mean, the number of people, all the work you got to put into it. It's really tough. It's not like doing this. This is fun.
Right.
This is easy. We just sit around and talk.
Yeah. No, I know, programs such as The Simpsons, from a standpoint of a production standpoint, from the beginning of the show, it took 6 months with a complete, you're from concept to completion, through the animation process, the production process, the scripting process and whatnot, for one 23-minute and 5-second episode to be produced. And that's when they were all hand painted. The cells were all done. Of course, they were, I believe, in Korea or whatnot. The production company was overseas, but now, of course, it's all computer based, which permits for faster production. But going back,
yeah, they're not even doing the hand stuff anymore.
Yeah.
I'm working on something now, and it's all CGI, and
Right.
everything looks sort of like Gumby, and
yeah.
the drawn stuff, even if it was drawn by Koreans, it has a lot of personality to it. I mean, these poor people out there getting paid nothing, but they would do a good job.
Right, and they were very talented because you're painting in reverse on the back of the cell, so you don't see the stroke, the brush marks from the brush. And one thing that I can say, with cartoons, you could always tell which cartoon was actually hand painted cell by cell when you could see the blur around the portions that are moving from handling the cells. You don't see that anymore on most of these because of the CGI and the computer technology.
I like the old Max. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. No, I was going to say the same. I like the old Max Fleischer, too. I wish I could be working on some of those.
Max Fleischer, Betty Boop, Coco the Clown. To me, they still hold up. Betty Boop cartoons are very, very hip right now. They're very hip.
Yeah.
She was one sexy woman, let me tell you, for the 1930.
I worked on they re-released the old Popeye cartoons a few years ago on DVD, and I worked on some of the extras that were on those DVDs.
Right.
Mostly the voice, the commentary, people sort of just blabbing on and on about how great the cartoon is. You just watch the cartoon. But there's so many of those, and it's so sad. They're sitting in a vault, all the negatives, and they won't do anything, and they won't restore them to Betty Boops because they think nobody wants to watch them. But we got to get people together.
Oh, I love them. Listen, you sound very literate on cartoons. Did you ever see the Popeye cartoon? It's called The Man on the Flying Trapeze. Bluto is the man on the flying trapeze. Anyway, Popeye's walking down the street, and then he goes to Olive Oil's house, and he knocks on the door. Hey, is Olive Oil in? And the mother, Olive Oil's mother, it says in an Italian accent, Olive Oil is no here. She went away with the man on the flying trapeze. And that was a clue that Olive Oil, because we would say when we were kids, Italian kids, Olive Oil must be Italian.
Right.
Who would name their kid Olive Oil? But the caller here, what is your first name?
William.
William. You're wonderful that you know about these cartoons.
Oh, these are the best things in the world. You watch all the old stuff. I mean, you watch the old Warner Brothers and even stuff that wasn't that so good, like the Woody Woodpeckers, and there was just so much personality to them and everything, and you could feel that people were working on them. And I work I don't do so much animation anymore because it's very, very corporate now, and you got like 500 people telling you what to do. Back then, you had one crazy guy like Leon Schlesinger or Max Fleischer, and he'd say, "Oh, I want to have the guy go fly off the trapeze and do this," and he'd go, "Okay, go ahead and do it." Now you got to have like the psychologist has got to say, "Oh no, that psychologically will hurt somebody's feelings," and then somebody else says, "Well, can we sell a trapeze, play set?" I mean, it's really nuts now.
You're right. They sanitize so many things that years ago we just laughed. I mean, Charlie Chaplin, the things they got away with years ago, these psychologists and, this is going to offend that one, this is going to offend that. They just were made to make people laugh and escape, right? That was the bottom line for these cartoons. Did you ever see the Commonwealth cartoons? You know what they are? They just have music. They were a car would be driving down a road and suddenly it would fly in the air and be on top of a house and then come down sideways, and the cats and mice were everywhere, and you know what I'm talking about? Commonwealth.
The cats and the mice were everywhere. Whose cartoons? They
were called Commonwealth. We called them Farmer Gray cartoons.
The Terry Toons.
That's it. The old ones. Everything exploded. Everything.
Yeah, everything exploded.
I missed those. I'm just not old enough. Those were on. I know those were on TV, and then I just was not quite the right age. Those were off by the time I was watching TV, and I got to see Popeye, and I got to see the other stuff, but I never got to see too many of those. Farmer Alfalfa cartoons.
When I was a kid, they were loaded with Flip the Frog and Molly Moo Cow, and every cartoon, whatever happened. All of a sudden, pirates would be. Flip the Frog played piano.
I got to look this up. I'm going to admit, I'm looking this one up.
You're going to cheat on the internet. Then.
No, I've never heard of Flip the Frog, so I'm going to use Google.
Oh, Flip the Frog has the greatest opening song. He goes, blop, blop, doo-doo-doo, blop, blop, doo. I love that song.
How about
he
Coco
never sang it in the cartoon.
Coco the Clown. Out of the inkwell comes Coco the Clown, the funniest little clown who came to town.
Well, Coco I can't top that one.
I never saw those on TV.
There he is.
I've seen those later. There's some restored Cocos on those Popeye discs I was talking about, and they look great. And it's so funny because they have one where Coco gets angry or something, and he grows big because he's angry at Max or something, so he becomes like 50 stories tall. And he's like walking around Broadway and picking up buildings and putting them back down. And
And Coco the Clown was a friend of Betty Boop. They used to cross into each other's cartoons once in a while. I have cartoons at home where Coco the Clown is in with Betty Boop.
I think that's where Betty Boop was introduced, was in Coco the Clown. She had dog ears originally?
I've heard that.
Did you know that?
She also
has the first Betty Boop. She had dog ears. I don't know what else she had, but she had dog ears.
She has a see-through dress. Her skirt is see-through a lot.
If
you watch those cartoons, they're very...
There was a rumor like once every 5 frames or 6 frames, there was a translucent skirt on her.
Oh, yeah. It was sheer. You could see right through it. It was
subliminal type...
And as little kids, we'd sit there and go, "Oh, Mom." We couldn't fast forward or play it again, but
that's incredible. That's just incredible.
There's actually, you bring that up. There's some Flip the Frogs where mice do some questionable things with a secretary.
Right.
Oh, I'm sure.
I won't go further.
Right.
But I think it was a little outrageous even at the time they came out.
Yeah, that's.
Well, look at Olive Oil. She could spread her legs 8 blocks long. I never saw anything like that. I never thought she was attractive. I thought Olive Oil was very homely. And I liked Wimpy, though, at least with him.
Yeah,
you
Wimpy
get
with
a
the
hamburger.
burgers. He's
always finding a way. And Olive Oil was never married to Popeye, but she did have children. And so did Betty Boop. Betty Boop had was it her son? I can't think of the.
But they never did. They never made it clear. They never said where the children came from.
They came from the mother. The Olive Oil had children, and Betty Boop had children. They were never married.
No. What I'm saying is who the father was.
No, but Olive Oil. They look like Popeye. Yeah, Sweepy looks like Popeye, not Bluto.
Right.
William, what do you think?
Were those pip poop and Pope. What were those 2, 3 Popeye? What were they called? A popsicle
Skip by,
and
dip by, and
Peppy
pip
and
by.
a pumper.
They passed them off
I don't
as
know.
nephews. They said to get away with it on a cartoon, they would call them Popeye's nephews, Huey and Dewey.
And Louis, or was it Louis? Or
And they talk like Popeye.
Screwy, yeah.
Wow. I like Bluto, but he's. I feel sorry for Bluto in a lot of There's one cartoon. Popeye actually goes to for a better word, it's a house of ill repute, and they have pictures of women on the wall, and he says, "I think I like that one over there." And but Bluto has it first in his hands, and Popeye takes it out of Bluto's hands, and Bluto goes, "What's the matter? What you one-eyed runt? Give me that picture back." Call him one-eyed runt, and then before you know it, they're having a fight. But Popeye, if you really pay attention, started a couple of fights with Bluto for no reason.
All right.
No reason.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody cares.
It was a lack of spinach. He didn't have enough spinach in his system. He was feeling low sugar. You know, you get cranky.
Yeah.
He said Popeye didn't need sugar. He needed spinach, and he just felt cranky, and that's why he started the fight.
No coffee, no testosterone, no steroids. He just needed spinach. It was a failed.
That was it.
It was a failed attempt to get the children to eat spinach. So.
Spinach out of a can on top of it.
Yeah, out of a can, correct. But you know what it always stumped me is that Popeye needed the spinach to beat up what's his name? Bluto. But olive oil could clock him once and knock him down.
She was a skinny thing too.
She would stretch in some of those episodes, like an elastic doll. What was the cartoon character in was it Elastic Man or no what was the carnival?
You got me.
The carnival character in your traveling carnival act.
Well, we had a Rubber Man. Yeah. We had a Gorilla Girl. We had a lot of stuff.
Yeah, one of those character. There was a character in one of the animated cartoons from the 70s or 80s. Rubber. I mean,
Rubber Men were famous.
Yeah.
They actually can stretch their.
Yeah, I mean
skin out.
that's what she was. She, like you said, 2 blocks away, she's being stretched between the two of them. But I mean,
Popeye's father appeared, Pappy Poop Deck. You don't see that.
No. And you look back at those cartoons, they didn't cause any uprising and violence and influence people to run amok. So, well, William, I have to say this was an interesting phone call. It was great having you on the show.
No, actually, I have to counter you that it did make me run amok. But it was just in the apartment, in my house. I would run around. But
yeah, but
that's safe. That's like your home, safe, running amok in the privacy of your home. That's what we should be looking for.
Right. Yeah, you're not beating.
What am I talking about? I don't know.
Yeah. All right, William. Well, thanks. It was nice speaking with you today.
Please call us again. All right, William. Oh, he's gone.
Okay. I just got a message from the person who mans your Facebook page to tell you my last name, which is Hohauser.
Hohauser.
So I'm William Hohauser. Now everyone knows. You can look me up on the internet.
Okay.
But
William
that was
Hohauser.
your Facebook page just told me to do this. So I obey Facebook. I'm one of those people who just mindlessly obeys everything the internet tells you to do. So I did it.
Well, I'm glad you found us, and I hope you continue to call from time to time, and we'll have cartoon updates, a cartoon corner.
Yes. All right, William. Thanks for calling the Uncle Floyd Show. We're getting ready to.
You're getting ready to hang it in.
Yeah.
Now we're going to be doing this again from time to time, and
Saturday is the next show.
Thank people for calling in, and is that? Oh, it's very sad right now.
I know.
I have nowhere to go.
This means it's the end of the
back
show.
Out into the real world now.
Yeah.
People will beep at me in the car and call me names and say, "Are you the original Uncle Floyd?"
Say no, thanks to cloning. I'm the 12th.
Thanks, Joe. You did a great job today at spilling beverages.
Yeah, it's a good thing I didn't spill it all over this $50,000 audio console. Well, the Uncle Floyd Show, we'll be back on Saturday. What time are we on Saturday?
2 to 4.
2 to 4 on Saturday. That's right, 2 to 4 p.m. Saturday. We're going to get Paul back in here with his ukulele, I think, or ukulele.
Good. Yeah, we need him. He's good.
Yeah, and we're going to try to get a keyboard in here.
Eventually, that's coming.
Well, I have one, and we're going to get into the computer, and you'll be able to play right where you're sitting.
Really?
Yes.
I can't wait. That will be a lot of fun.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome to be able to bring on-demand Uncle Floyd piano playing right to the listeners.
Custom songs.
Right. Right.
If somebody says it's my wife's birthday, will you sing a special song to her? Her name is Helen.
Right.
I'll make a song about it on the spot. I guarantee you.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
I can do it. We can have a lot of fun with that.
Well, we want to thank our listeners today. Just a reminder to check out Facebook, Uncle Floyd Radio. You can find us on Facebook at Uncle Floyd Radio. And the website is unclefloydradio.com. The email address, if you have any requests, comments, or suggestions, is unclefloydradio@gmail.com. You will also find that on our website, unclefloydradio.com. And our callers today that called in, we want to thank everybody. Joe, Donna, Manny, and
Mrs. Walker with the foot problem. Scott Gordon, Cheech from East Rutherford, Huey, Rob from New Hampshire,
Bruce
Campbell.
That's right.
The sports collector.
Yes.
Good people.
All right, until Saturday at 2.
And our two friends from Patterson who had an argument while we were trying to get them to
pick up the phone.
But
that's right.
Maybe they'll call next time.
That's right. All right.
Thanks, Joe.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
We'll see you on Saturday, 2 o'clock, right here on Uncle Floyd Radio.
The opinions expressed by the callers and guests are not those of UncleFloydRadio.com. Program advertisers and sponsors and employees of UncleFloydRadio.com. Calls are recorded for possible use in future promotional broadcasts. All contests or promotions broadcast on UncleFloydRadio.com are encompassed by the following restrictions. All winners must be 18 years of age or older, must live in the continental United States, and agree to the terms of the contest. Listeners are limited to one prize every 30 days.